to have you with us. We've got so much to do today. There are several headlines of things that are going on, a lot of cancellations today. We will get into. We do have several guests. Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet will be here. We'll talk about the games that will get played. We will pick the Lakers and the Nuggets, and I think that should be a decent series, although I think there is a clear favorite and a team that I think will win. We'll go U.S. Open. The U.S. Open is actually very much like the U.S. Open today. Cooler, windy, and some of those that played really well yesterday are really struggling today. We'll get into that leaderboard in a little bit, and we'll really talk about the Open with Rex Hoggard because I think it's only going to get tougher and tougher. A lot of good high school football today. Of course, it won't include Shelby County Schools. Glenn Rogers will talk about that situation. We'll make our picks on Kentucky wins and losses. Andy Schiffman will be here at about 5 o'clock. Friday football forecast coming your way at 5:30. We'll crunch with Taco at about 5:30. I also want to tell all of our friends that are Jewish in our audience, Happy New Year. It is Rosh Hashanah starting tonight. So there's a lot on the table, and I have to start with extremely sad news. And it's really sad for a friend of mine, to be totally honest with you. Today, earlier this morning, Tom the Tiger, passed away, and it was pretty unexpected. Apparently, he had gone for a routine physical, and then something occurred, and it progressed quickly, and the Tiger did pass away this morning. And so to Scott Foreman, who has been the person that has sponsored Tom the Tiger, who has put Tom the Tiger in this beautiful sort of Shangri-La that he's got. I think it's in Mississippi. He doesn't want anybody to know where it is. Tom the Tiger was like his child, truthfully. And there was an unbelievable relationship, if you ever saw the interaction between the two, which I did notice on a couple of occasions. I was privileged to see that. And so it is a tremendous loss for him. I feel bad for him. I don't know if there will be another mascot that is a live tiger for a while. First of all, they're not easy to get. You have to jump through hoops, and I don't know that Scott Foreman will want to take on that cost that goes with that and the emotional investment that you have to make because this cat was very, very close to him. So we'll have to wait and see. But really, I don't mean to just destroy the mood, but I think it's really sad when you have an animal that so many people did see over all these years. Tom Tiger would be, I think, 12 years old next month. And kids in particular loved to go by that cage and touch the window and say they saw the tiger. I mean, he did touch a lot of people, and that tiger will clearly be missed. Good afternoon, Brett. Don't mean to bum you out too much.
Good afternoon, Dave. Good. I'm sad, but all creatures, big and small, we are saddened by that, and has brought a lot of joy. And that is my photo on your contact list in my phone book is of Tom the Tiger in his cage.
Is it really?
At FedEx Forum. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I promise you. Well, I'd give out your cell number if I showed it to you, but I think I can do it without revealing all your pertinent information. Let's see if I can.
Well, I'm watching you on Zoom right now. So you could probably just hold it. Probably just hold it. See the way I'm holding my hand up? You could do that.
All right, I'm covering your phone number, and you see it?
You got to take it back a little bit. No, the other way.
Back her up.
Hey, move it up. You were right. Oh, yeah. I do see that. I think I've seen that before. That's great.
Yeah.
That really is great.
In fact, a lot of Tigers friends of mine are that, or they are this, like our friend Drew Barrett. He is identified in my phone book with the 901 headgear.
I like that. That is really good. I thought there might be a big question mark for picking. I don't know.
Why would I do that? He's leading by 10 miles in the golf picks. He's getting ready to be tied in the hockey picks.
And if Morikawa drops one more stroke, I can go ahead and take my victory lap because that'll be.
I'm dead.
No golfers for Dave.
Not
this
so
weekend.
soon,
what
my
is Fleetwood?
friend.
What is-
Remember Augusta National.
What is Fleetwood? What is Tommy Fleetwood?
He's +8. Finished.
Tommy Fleetwood is almost to the he's almost to the Delta counter at LaGuardia. That's where he is right now.
He's first of all, Tommy Fleetwood has made a lot of money. He's flying NetJets, buddy. Don't put him at Delta.
He's not out there fighting around at baggage check, is
No.
he? No. I
He
want to
is
say
not.
I want to say something about Scott Foreman and Tom the Tiger. The original Tiger. I can remember watching Big Jack Eaton on Action News 5 Sports when they first debuted the first Tiger in 72. And I want to say it was Coach Fred Pancoast's first year as head coach of the Tigers, succeeding legendary Coach Billy Murphy, and had the kitten, the itty bitty kitty, in his lap on the news that night.
Well, the first of the Tigers actually stayed at the Memphis Zoo. And then I don't know.
That's after he got to be a big cat.
I can't remember what the politics were, but eventually Bobby Wharton got involved, and he was the second guy that was really, I think, prominent with that Tiger before before Scott took over. And Bobby had either one of the two of the Tigers, maybe both of them. But they moved to a place in Collierville. Then Scott moved them to another place. I believe it's somewhere in Mississippi. The Tiger's always been put up like royalty, and it is a great thing. I remember a couple of years ago, Real Sports did a story about how mascots were kept, and
Good life.
What's his name? Brian Gumble. No, one of the Gumble brothers. Who does Real Sports?
Bryant Gumbel.
Bryant Gumble, yeah.
Bryant.
Bryant Gumble came and interviewed Scott and interviewed the mascot at LSU, because I think those are the only two live Tigers still, or not one actually.
Yeah.
But you could tell how well taken care of the Memphis Tiger was, and Bryant Gumble had a lot of good things to say about the way Scott was putting up that animal. And,
Well, he should.
And it really was.
He has.
He did. It
And you're
was
right.
terrific.
I know he's very sad. As we do to anything we get attached to, and I do. I'm a pet and animal person. I do not have one because before the pandemic, I was never home, and I thought it would be terribly unfair to have a pet. Now I really wish I do, and it's the first thing I'm going to buy in retirement. I'm going to buy me a cockerpoodle.
Okay, I'm all for that. I have a pugapoo that is definitely got my and my wife's heart all wrapped up for sure. Now we have no children
I want
now,
the
so-
female. I want the female smallest of the group.
You want the runt of the litter? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think that's politically correct anymore.
Well,
I didn't say that.
That cannot be politically incorrect. That's what they
I just-
say. It's the smallest one. It's the runt of the litter.
Well,
is that a
Well, they
negative
call dogs other
connotation?
things. I'm not going to say that word either.
That one you might not, but runt of the litter is descriptive. It's not negative.
We got to get a Stanley Cup pick. I'm going to, of course, pick my Stars. I've been a Stars fan since about 1975 or 76 or 77. Now, they didn't come into existence until the 90s, but I've been a fan even going back to Minneapolis. That's where it all started for me with the Minnesota. They were the North something and others, weren't they? They were the North Stars.
North Stars, yeah.
Yeah. That's when I became a fan.
And when Memphis actually, they had the farm club, and they were the South Stars. North Stars, South Stars. Made a lot of sense. I'm
Your pick, Dave?
Well, I'm really torn. I've got to be honest with you, because I think.
Well, I'm not torn. Can I pick? Then he can have the leftover.
No, because
he's in the lead too. Dave leads 10. He has 10 points. Drew, you have 9. I have 5. I'm dormy. I'm out of the hockey. It's unbelievable. I'm stunned.
Here's my dilemma. Let me just be totally frank about this.
If you know Fridays are busy, we can't have too big a dilemma over the hockey picks. I'm just saying.
but this is a big pick. It's a big pick.
Clock's rolling. Time money, baby, on Friday.
I hate Tampa Bay. I think they are goons.
That's such an ugly word, Dave. That's an uglier word than the smallest
I don't
K9
like them.
in the group.
Okay, is that better? I don't like them.
Okay.
Can I say that? I don't like
Sports.
them.
I'm joking. Sports hates. Okay.
They're unsportsmanlike. They're not genteel. They're low lives.
It's not a genteel sport, Dave. You knew that playing youth hockey.
He actually didn't know that because you couldn't
That's
hit
right, because
anybody.
it was the most gentility around.
Well, it was illegal when you were young to hit people. Come on.
Did anybody ever just say, to heck with it and let it go and blast somebody?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's always that kid.
That got you in the penalty box, let me tell you.
Was it the 12-year-old kid that had the mustache too early?
There were a couple of those.
Yeah.
I don't like the Tampa Bay Lightning. But you know something? I think the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to win. I really do. I think Tampa.
I don't need you thinking. I need it going in the Lamb's Book of Life, Dave.
So I want to win this thing. I have to go with Tampa.
Tampa Bay it is. Ooh, Drew, getting these picks this week from John and Dave. Wow.
Goodness gracious.
Man, it's pulling back molars, isn't it?
I'll make it real short and sweet. I'll take the Stars.
There you go, Drew Barrett. Your Stars? You've been a Stars fan forever too with me?
No, not really.
Since the
70s? I hate the Stars because they knocked the Preds out of the playoffs last year.
He's just doing that to try to tie me.
Speaking of Drew Barrett and his age, Drew, even you had to feel old with the young. Can't even think of his first name. His dad was a PGA Tour player, Summer Hayes, the young man, the 18-year-old at the U.S. Open, who's had two pretty decent days. 18 years old, born in 2002.
Yeah, I even feel old for that one.
I've got a lot of clothes I wear from back in 02.
I'm sure you do. Because you know what you do? This is my man stats. Have you ever seen Stats in a wrinkled shirt of any kind? You can look at him on Zoom right now. He presses his polos. He presses his underwear, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I do not.
What he does,
I fold it neatly.
What he does is he'll buy like 100 pair. They last forever because he only wears them once or twice. And then he puts them in the drawer and circulates them. That's why they last since 2002. Nobody else would have clothes that look that good that are that old except for you.
I take care of my stuff.
You never wear it. You rotate. How many polos you got?
Oh, my goodness.
Drew's coming out. 100?
40.
Oh, you got more than 40. No. You got more than 40. See,
I probably got 40 Ole Miss polos. You're right. 60.
Yeah. See, here's my wife's complaint about me. I got more polos than that. But I don't take care of them like you do. You know why?
No, you don't. You let the dryer beat them up.
Well,
I don't let the dryer beat my stuff up.
I do. What do you send it to the dry cleaner?
Yes. Of course I do.
Of course you do. And here's the other thing. See, you'll rotate all your things. I will. I have more than 60 polos. I don't know how many my wife counted. I'm embarrassed to say, but I only wear like 10 of them. I just pick the same 10 all the time because I like the way they feel.
You need to get in the Wolo Rhoda.
In the Wolo Rhoda.
You are going to depart today at 5 because it is that time of year for you and a lot of adherents. And Andy Schiffman, I checked with him to make sure he could be with us. He is, but you're going to check out at 5 to start Rosh Hashanah.
Which is a good thing for you because then you can just make the picks that I've already made for Friday Football Forecast without me having to go all day to make the picks. So you'll be on time.
Well, actually, stay on schedule for once.
No, we're gonna have the Wolo drama when we get to your picks, even though I have them. But I would never change. You were absolutely robbed without a firearm last night.
Oh my gosh.
That game last night, thank you, Lord. And Dave, when you pray for me, thank him again that I got cured and no longer bet on the ball games. Thank you, Lord, that I didn't bet on that because even winning, that would have driven me crazy last night.
Let me just tell you something. Cleveland, because I think Joe Burrow is the real deal. He's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL.
He has zero help.
But he's got nothing.
He got crushed.
How many times did he get hit last night? I'm
he was
serious.
looking out the ear hole a couple of times, and you're not even supposed to hit him that hard anymore.
It seemed to me at the end of the game his eyes were glazed. He looked like he was a boxer that was in that,
little punchy.
In that,
Dave, he
dizzy,
was.
They used to have a word for it. It's no longer politically correct to use it. But on Blank Street.
We've had the PC out today, haven't we? We're trying to be careful.
Yeah, it's they're not good. Cincinnati is not good, and if Cleveland,
it was one of the few teams Cleveland could have defeated.
I mean, and if they couldn't even cover on that, it's going to be a long year for Baker Mayfield.
Did you hear Troy Aikman say he thought Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were the best running back duo in the NFL?
Well, they may be. Now, I'm not saying that Cincinnati's defense or that defensive line is great, but those two guys are the real deal. Now, Chubb and Hunt are really, really good running backs, don't you think?
The best duo in the NFL.
Well, think of other duos.
Okay, in Kansas City.
If you want to say Ezekiel Elliott, there's one back.
And
Pollard. But
Rams?
I hate to say this, as much as I love Tony Pollard, has he produced like either Hunt or Chubb? No. It's
the shortness of time, too. But I'm not arguing with Troy Aikman. I was just pointing out what he said last night. That's all. No argument.
It's unfortunate.
I'm not trying. Sean Toohey had one of the great comebacks you ever. It was after Yom Kippur, and we had Sean on, and Sean said, and Sean, growing up and going to Newman, a Jewish school in New Orleans, a very famous Jewish school in New Orleans.
Everybody took off that went to that school for the holidays.
Everybody. He knew all the calendar and a lot of friends. And boy, you hadn't had him on 2 minutes today, and he had thrown out. I hope you enjoyed the festivities, everything that goes with it. And then about 2 minutes in, you blasted him in perfect kind of sarcastic Sean Toohey style. He goes, "Well, boy, I can really tell you learned a lot at all the festivities."
Oh yeah. In the meantime, we are really busy. We've gone over the lineup. It is going to be a lot of fun. There are a bunch of cancellations. I'll get to those in just 1 second.
This hour of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. If you're watching the U.S. Open, you see that's the official car of the U.S. Open at Wingfoot this week, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Great offers on all 2020 models and always special lease options. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity September fall sales event. Drive-in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, we've got a few. It's been a day of cancellations. We kind of joked. Houston found a new game when Memphis couldn't play in an hour, called Baylor. It took less than a week, and that game got canceled. Apparently, Baylor, and this may be protocol with the contact tracing. It could be just protocol the Big 12 has inserted, but they don't match the protocol that is needed. So the Houston-Baylor game has been postponed. If you were picking Florida Atlantic and Georgia Southern in your lock or your shock today, scratch it. That game has been canceled. The battle for Atlantis, which we knew was going to be postponed, is now canceled. That doesn't mean that Memphis won't play in that whatever the grouping they will have in Sioux Falls, South Dakota to Pentagon. That there's a chance different organizers will get several of those teams that were supposed to play in the Bahamas and play up there. Although Memphis could end up playing in that grouping with all these elite teams in Atlanta. That I guess is for Penny to sort all the way through. You do want to you want to attach yourself to something that is a tournament though, because it gets you 3 extra games, and the
multi-team events.
Yes,
MTs.
yes. And the U.S. Open is looking more like the U.S. Open. Winds
Isn't it?
gusting to 18 miles an hour. Bryson DeChambeau was the best of all of them so far today. He shot a 68. Patrick Reed went backwards, but now he's recovered. He leads at 4 under par. Justin Thomas didn't hit a fairway through his first 8 holes. He is at 2 under, 3 over for the day, so it's been tough for him. Carnage everywhere. McIlroy 5 over through 8. Crazy stuff. And
It is, Dave. There hadn't been a lot of golf played from the fairway today.
No, and I'm trying to look at where that cut may be. Remember,
It's all the way to 5, maybe 6 even.
yeah, well, it's the top 60
And ties.
68 and ties, I think it is. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just 60. I think it's the top 60. You're right. So that would be 5 over, 6 over. May get into this thing before it's all said and done.
Won't get low enough for Tommy Fleetwood to turn around and come back from LaGuardia, though, Drew. What a shame. We did our best. Anyway, my top story. I'm sorry. I digress, Dave. I was just thinking about you and totally forgot our very valued listenership and
Yes.
forgot about my
Yeah.
top story of the
I
day.
know.
It's title time for LeBron James and the Lakers. All the moves, all the waiting, heck, the very existence of the bubble. Adam Silver didn't go to this much trouble for the finals to be Denver and Miami. The pressure is really on LeBron James. What's new? Pressure's been on LeBron James since he was 10 years old. He eats it for breakfast, noon, and supper.
And he's got a guy named Anthony Davis that takes a lot of pressure off of him, I think. And he's been terrific in the bubble for the most part. So I would agree with you on that. He's lived up to the billing ever since he stepped foot on the court.
Not top story of the day.
Those are the numbers. We had 160 new cases and 5 new deaths. So we're getting close to 30,000 in Shelby County, 29,957. By the time I speak with you on Monday, we will have surpassed the 30,000 mark of cases in Shelby. But I am really pleased about this. There were a lot of tests, 3,334 tests. So you do the math on 160, we're talking 4.8% positivity. Now in Shelby County, and I'm glad they have started to do this, there have been 416,000 tests administered. But wait, in Shelby County, there have been 263,000 different people. So those people have had multiple tests, but 263,000 people. When you take in all these numbers the last few days with low positivity, remember we were gearing for under 10%. Total positivity now is at 6.5%. So that is really a positive in my mind. In the United States, just under 7 million cases, 202,000 have perished, 2.5 million active cases, 4.25 million have recovered. And around the world, 30.5 million have cases, 22 million have recovered, 953,000 who have passed away. We are still under the million mark for the world. That is good news in its own right, in a certain extent. And then still working on 173 different vaccines. Go, researchers, go.
My not top story, opt in, opt out. It's a work in progress. Managing a college football and basketball roster has never been harder for a head coach and a staff. But what about Major League Baseball? Here's a scenario. Hard one for you two. The Giants. Giants look like they're going to be the 8th seed
sure
and
could.
open against their hated rival, the
Dodgers.
Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
All the games will be at Dodger Stadium. What if Buster Posey let his teammates know, I'd like to opt back in? Do you take him?
Heck yes, you do.
Yes.
Heck yeah, you take him.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, you want to win.
Right. You want to win, and you know what? It's real easy to justify for Buster Posey, who says, I really was worried about travel. And doesn't he have young kids that he had just adopted? Or there was some story
I
about
think
that.
so.
Yeah.
A very gripping story.
And you say, the timing was really not right for me with my family to go. And there's a lot of travel involved, and it's 2 months or 3 months.
now
that
we're
we were doing
bubbled.
this. But now we're in a bubble, and we're talking about a month or so after we win
Take
the World
him in a
Series.
second.
I want to play, and the Giants go, we love you, come home. Yes, in a nanosecond. second. Those are your top and your not top stories. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. You got a chance to go to the real deal. That's Family Leisure at I-40 and Whidden Road, 2120 Whidden Road. This weekend, take advantage. Now, you got till the end of October, but take advantage while you still have more choice. Up to 30% off spas and swim spas at the world's biggest spa sale. I'm telling you, you can choose from hundreds right now of different spas and from multiple manufacturers, and most of these state-of-the-art. The technology is outstanding. There is special financing available for those of you who need it. And right now, also special prices on chemicals and accessories as many start to decide to close pools up as the fall gets closer and closer. Professional delivery right to your house, always available, or they'll bring it out to your truck outside. They'll take care of you at Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road. We take our quick timeout. When we come back, we find the golden man from Vegas. From the Gold Sheet, Bruce Marshall. He comes your way next.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
I'm here with outstanding team from Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Gary, tell everyone how they can experience the Lexus of Memphis satisfaction.
Come in and be a part of our family at Lexus of Memphis. Experience the customer service that we provide to each guest like a member of our own family. If you're on the side of the road and you need us, we're there. If you need help with anything with your car, technology, Bluetooth, the app suite, we have a dedicated team to help you with this in your journey with your Lexus.
That's how they do it at Lexus of Memphis.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking, no telephone pole to get in your way, a cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for the previews to start in a movie theater.
Hey, you want anything? Popcorn? Soda? No, nothing?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
It's time to catch the falling prices at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during our Fallback Kia sales event. You'll find best mass market brand and initial quality 5 years running for Kia with J.D. Powers, and we Gossett all at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah. Get 2020 Forte $131 a month, 36-month lease. How about a 2020 Soul $148 a month, 36-month lease? And check out the all-new 2021 Kia K5, now just $189 a month, 36-month lease. And they're all just $3149 due at signing. And in these uncertain times, Gossett says rest assured with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $3149 due at signing, 0 security deposit, excludes acquisition fee, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LE 2249.63, sold L7120906, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty, see Kia.com or retailer for details, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 598.75, excludes tax title and license, see dealer for complete details, not all customers will qualify.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Got to be tough in Las Vegas, doesn't it, to pick out games only to see them get canceled? I know they had established Baylor, I think, as a 4-point favorite over Houston. Houston hasn't played a game yet, man. I mean,
Baylor soon to establish their fourth different opening game opponent.
Isn't that
3 down,
incredible?
1 to go.
Isn't that incredible?
2020, man.
It is tough for everybody, especially those that prognosticate, that have to help set the lines. That's what our guy in Las Vegas does, Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. So what was your first reaction when you heard Houston and Baylor had to get canceled today?
Well, it had to be this game, Dave, because this is the one they hastily arranged last week.
Right.
After, La Tech and Baylor and, Houston and Memphis. And, it started to look with these teams, this is sort of like WWE Raw, who's up the next week. You find out, the week before who you're playing and who you're fighting. I don't know. It's just par for the course for this year, like Brett said. You've got to get used to it. Florida Atlantic, they canceled their game this morning with Georgia Southern. Supposed to be Willie Taggart's debut for the Owls. That's postponed, and I'm not sure they're going to make that one up. So, we just got to roll with the punches. This is 2020 football for you.
Bruce, if you can find them, and they're not easy to find at a lot of places, but if you can find college football, SEC, season over and unders, what happens if, say, you go to the betting window, you find a place, whether it's a betting window or offshore, however you do it, maybe with the old-fashioned man, and you bet the over 8.5 for Bama, but they only play 7 games, and they're 7-0. What happens?
Refund. There's got to be a minimum number of games, and it's got to be for the adjusted numbers. It's got to be the scheduled number now. In the SEC, it's all 10. So and it's not every place that has some of the wins up, Brett. A few places do, and they've adjusted them to this year. I want to say, I think Vanderbilt's at 1. I think that's the number for Vanderbilt.
Arkansas's 1.5.
Arkansas's 1.5. So, but they've got to play that number of games, or else it's refund time.
Crazy, and this is the second time, right, that you're sort of offering the over under, because you originally were going on the premise that we're going to have a regular season. Yeah, and they posted some of those back in the spring. Right.
They had some of those numbers up, and they were getting bet. Not a lot, but they would bet some. But all those are refunded now. As long as you go in there, they'll refund your money. It'll be a no bet.
I remember. I knew it wasn't a lot of action on those old lines, because I remember reading a story, and I think you commented on it, Bruce, back in July. That was the first losing month that Vegas sportsbooks had, and it was because they weren't getting people betting on futures.
Yeah. At that point, usually in the summer, because football action will still generate some revenue at the sports books anyway, any time of the year. And but in the colleges, after they took all of the win totals down, that's what they're usually betting in colleges. There's no action on that. And the NFL was still kind of touch and go there, though they were always tentatively planning it. They didn't have a lot of normal activity there, but that accounted for it. There was hardly any future betting there for good swaths of the summer, including much of July. They didn't start even, and like I said, not even all the sports books have put up adjusted win totals for the new scheduled number of games. Only a handful of those have done it.
Bruce, I know you want to talk about a historical perspective from this time of year back to 1970, but before we do that, I want to go over and I want to applaud you. Last week, 9-1 on the air with us. You can go back and you can listen to it at the podcast. Bruce Marshall is not one of these people schlocking trying to get your credit card number. He knows the definition of free and absolutely free. He's never guaranteeing 10,000 star lock of the week or you get next week absolutely free. When we got to the college game you liked the most, you said Texas San Antonio straight up over Texas State. They got there last Friday. Here was the list. Louisiana Lafayette plus 11.5 W. Texas Longhorns minus 43.5 W. South Alabama plus 10.5 W. Arkansas State plus 13.5 W. Duke plus 20.5 W. And we add a half point too, because we don't like pushes. And I mentioned Texas San Antonio plus a 6.5 W. Your only loss in college was Florida State. 3 NFL plays. Baltimore minus 7.5 win. Jacksonville plus 7.5 win. Green Bay plus 2.5 win. That is what Bruce Marshall is about.
I think I'm going to stop after 1 week. And I'll just
I would not have seen the Green Bay Minnesota game playing out the way that it did. So you're beautiful, and the way Texas covered, that was pretty astounding as well, because that was a big amount of points that they had to give away. So tell me who your favorite game is in this not large inventory weekend.
Yeah, Syracuse, and this is no big endorsement on Syracuse. I don't think they're that good. They were kind of fortunate to even be hanging around North Carolina last week in that game, but it was only 10-6 into the fourth quarter, and then the Tar Heels broke free with 3 scores, and they barely got the spread. Pitt should not be laying 21.5 to Syracuse. This has been a very competitive series in recent years. Pitt beat up the P last week, but that didn't mean much, and they had a running clock the second half or 10-minute quarters. I'm old enough to remember the last time that happened in a Pitt game, 1968 Notre Dame, 49-0 at halftime. Era and Dave Hart decided to play the second half with a running clock.
Really? I don't remember that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's happened before to Pitt. This time Pitt was being generous, but they are not. Kenny Pickett is not. He's a serviceable quarterback, but this offense at its best shouldn't be that explosive. And Syracuse with DeVito, I think, hangs within 3 touchdowns in this game. So that would be probably my favorite pick tomorrow. There's a few other. I'd go against Texas State again. They're laying points on the road at ULM tomorrow, and the Warhawks had a tough go at Army. That's a tough assignment right now for anybody to go up there and get ground by West Point, but you're asking Texas State, which is already McBride, the Memphis transfer. I don't think he's playing again this week. COVID, he was out last week. They had to go back to the other kid.
Yep.
So they've been juggling quarterbacks there for Spavital. They've won 3 of their last 31 on the road. They haven't beaten Monroe since 2015. I know Matt Viator's got a new quarterback down there after Evans had been there the last couple of years. But I don't see why is Texas State laying points on the road here? I can't understand it. So ULM in that one. And in the ACC, I guess this is the game of the day. I'm giving Louisville a shot against Miami. Very short price favorite. The Cards 2.5. Last year they gave up 52, and maybe their worst effort of the year down at Hard Rock. Well, that Kentucky game was pretty bad last year too, but they were really flat for that game. And Jaron Williams, then Miami's quarterback, threw school record 6 TD passes. He's since transferred to a JC. It was just Louisville was flat that game. Cunningham, the quarterback, got knocked out. Beckton, their top lineman now, and the Jets got knocked out of that game. This is revenge. I'm a big Scott Satterfield fan. And Miami's win over UAB wasn't all that easy last week. And this new Rhett Lashley offense, I don't think Derek King, the Houston transfer, he can do a lot of things out of this spread that Lashley's involved, but the passing part of it didn't look all that comfy last week. And Louisville's going to make it a bit more difficult than UAB did for the Canes and this new Lashley offense. I think Louisville gets revenge. I'm a big Scott Satterfield fan. He's about a 70% play the last 3 years against the spread. Louisville tomorrow will beat Miami by more than 2.5.
I'm with you. I totally agree.
Last weekend's darling, Louisiana Lafayette with Billy Napier. They are 16-point favorites on the road in downtown Atlanta against Georgia State.
Yeah, and they're in the rankings this week. How about that? Ooh la la, up there at the number 19. Those running backs are there from last year. The quarterback, Levi Lewis, is back. That was a thrashing of a pretty decent Big 12 team last week. We liked them again this week, 38-17 our score forecast. Georgia State, moving on from Dan Ellington, their quarterback the last few years. When he went out last year, the Panthers really tanked late in the season. He's on staff now. He graduated. He's helping out Coach Elliott, but I don't want to get in the way of Louisiana Lafayette. That would not be a featured pick for me this week. I'm not in love with that number. I think they may have pumped it up a little bit too high, but this might be the best Sun Belt team, and this year that's saying something.
There's an interesting game in the American for me.
Sure is.
And that's at Tulane, a Navy team that we saw get absolutely decimated by BYU. Ken Niumatalolo has taken a shot at the Pentagon, had to apologize. He immediately took the blame for what happened at BYU. They had no full contact practices going into that game, and that was a part of the problem. Now they're up against a Tulane team that I think is pretty good, has already won one game this year. It's at Tulane. I think the line in that is, 6.5? How does the Gold Sheet see that game?
Tricky. We're going to give Navy one more chance to prove it's still Navy here. And everything you said about the BYU game is true. And Coach Niumatalolo said as much after the game. Only one team is playing football out there tonight, and that was BYU. And he then listed the reasons, which you said, Dave. I mean, they had no contact, they weren't hitting, they weren't tackling, and they weren't ready to play a game. They've had almost 2 weeks since then. I'm sure they've remedied that as much as they can, at least that end of it. Now, are they up to it? Historically, you'd say yes, because this has been a very good spot for Niumatalolo and Navy throughout the years. One of their quarterbacks did transfer out, Olsen, after that opener, and we know that Perry's not there from last year.
Right.
They had another couple kids transfer out in the offseason off defense, and that's something you don't see too much in Annapolis. But I respect Niumatalolo enough. I like Willie Fritz a lot, too. They came back to win that game last week. This has been a very competitive series, and we're going to give Navy one more shot. It's not going to be a featured pick for me this week. We did take them, though, on the Gold Sheet to cover that spread. This is the most curious game of the week to me, because I want to, if Navy isn't the normal Navy, that's one of my go-to picks most weeks that I'm not going to be able to use this. So this might be the last chance I'll give Navy to see if they've got something going. And I will trust Ken Niumatalolo to get these guys ready to play and keep it close down in New Orleans.
Anchors away the Navy one more time. And, Dave, I like your play on words. They took a shot at the Pentagon. That's never smart, because they've got some big old guns to return some fire. Bruce Marshall, this is the 50th anniversary of a very famous Southern football game, Sam Bam Cunningham's appearance at Legion Field. You wanted to comment about that before we get to NFL picks. Your thoughts on that 50th anniversary, and there was more to it that day, and I know the other game.
Oh, yeah, sure, definitely. I mean, I remember that well, and I think, listen, I know this is an important marker of that game, but here we go. ESPN's put another big story out about the importance of SC Alabama. It wasn't even the biggest game that day, and for the same reasons that SC Alabama seems like it's such a big deal in retrospect, and it is, but Stanford, Arkansas was a bigger game that day. It was the national TV game on ABC. It was absolutely the same sorts of civil rights connections there. You had the Pac-12 team, Pac-8 at that point coming in, very integrated Stanford team. Arkansas, same deals as Alabama back then. And Stanford won, and Arkansas was a lot better than Alabama then. This is something the modern-day writers can't fathom, an era when Arkansas was better than Alabama. And Alabama had been losing games to integrated teams in bowls. Colorado the year before that, Missouri 2 years before that. The real landmark game, I think, was the year before when Tennessee came in to Legion Field. Lester McLean and Jackie Walker, who literally danced after he intercepted a Ned Hayden pitch out into the end zone. And that shook Alabama more than what SC did in that game in 1970. I will say this. The change was happening then. The color line was being broken in the SEC. Alabama could have won that game, and it wouldn't have slowed a thing. The change was coming. Alabama beat SC the next year at the LA Coliseum. The year, and at that point, Wilbur Jackson had gone on the varsity, and they barely broken the color line. That was pretty much an all-white team that won the next year, and it didn't stop. Within a couple of years, the change had happened. So it's not because SC won that game that the South got integrated. It was going to happen.
It is
anyway.
not. It is not. And that night in Little Rock, John Richardson was the first black player for Arkansas, and that was also the first year that Arkansas had eschewed playing Dixie as its unofficial fight song. Up through the big shootout and the Sugar Bowl against Ole Miss in '69, they were still playing Dixie, and there were Confederate flags all through the stands. That was out in Little Rock that night against Stanford and Jim Plunkett and Randy Vitaha.
That is why it is such a treasure to have you on a regular basis as we have over all these years, because I've always thought the civil rights game that set things in motion was that Alabama-USC game, and the word is that the Bear was happy to let USC run it up because he needed to integrate his team. And now you're telling me that really the more important game at that particular moment was being played in Arkansas with Stanford in the same sort of scenario, an integrated team. I never knew that until just now.
Yeah,
literally not 10 miles from Central High School, where in the late 50s the desegregation case made such international news.
That's right, and those were, by the way, the 11th games that year because they were just added in the offseason. Alabama had already scheduled a home-and-home with Houston for 70 and 71, and Houston was very integrated. I think Houston, I'm going to write about this some more, Houston was actually the most important team in college football, maybe. You talk about integration, what they did right in Texas there, and how they integrated, and they played at Ole Miss, at Jackson, they played at Georgia in the late 60s. There were other games other than SC Alabama that were very important in this, and I hope to straighten that out in some Gold Sheet editorials coming up.
Wow, that is really great stuff. Thank you, Bruce. Before we let you go, give me your favorite NFL game. I don't think it's the Bears and the Giants.
I'm going to give you 3 real quick. Baltimore's going to keep rolling. I'm just going to take them every week, so I would lay the points against Houston. How about this dynamic duo? Don't laugh. I'm going to give you the Lions plus against the Packers, and I'm going to give you the Jets plus against the 49ers. I don't put the Lions and Jets in too many parlays together, but they have covered 6 straight, the Lions against the Packers. They have perfected the art of losing in the last second. Losing close is Matt Patricia's forte.
Yes.
And this looks like a Packer close win in non-cover. And the Super Bowl loser hangover, don't dismiss it. 49ers, they'll be happy for any sort of a win against the Jets. They got to beat them by 7. And best of all for the Jets, there's no fans in the stands to boo them, which they would have after the Bills game last week. So I'm taking the Jets.
It is interesting. We were talking earlier about, not today, but earlier this week, about the Super Bowl hangover. It really and truly is a real thing. Bruce, how do we get more of you?
Thanks, Dave. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. New, easier-to-read format this year. Read my cover story. It's a nice little retrospective on the Gold Sheet there and a Mort Olsson story from long ago, and all of our picks. And we were 5-0 in the NFL last weekend. Great weekend for us. Goldsheet.com. My picks there. Also, VegasInsider.com. And on Best.com, you can read me too at VSiN Point Spread Weekly.
Thank you, my friend. As always, we truly
You're the best.
Appreciate it. We do.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Bruce.
We have news about who the NBA MVP is. We'll give you that here in just a couple of seconds, and we'll make our picks on the Lakers and on the Nuggets. This portion of the show is brought to you by Supercuts. If you're ready for a haircut, they're ready for you. You know, it's a family-owned business. All 15 of the Supercuts are owned by the Czech family, and the health of this community and of all their workers is the foremost thing for all of them. They're indeed involved in safety, and that is why all of the Memphis Supercuts are open with the Safe Salon commitment in place. What is that? The Safe Salon commitment was developed in partnership with the top infectious disease doctors to maximize safety and sanitization in all 15 of the Memphis Supercut salons. So I know you're ready for a haircut. They're ready for you. I promise they've been doing it for a while now. You can learn more about that Safe Salon commitment, and you can get ready for your next haircut by going to supercuts.com. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
All 75 months at 2.99 APR, G4, LHFO 7472, Outlander, LU02 9957, Eclipse, LZO 15617. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 59875, excludes tax, title, and license. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details.
Gossett's Mitsubishi Madness is in full swing at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, and you'll find deals to get this party started. 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage G4 gets 41 MPG Highway. We Gossett at $139 a month or buy for $12,435. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, built to handle any adventure at $229 a month or buy for $18,573. And take the 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross for a spin at $19,107 or $229 a month. Get confidence today, tomorrow, and long into the future with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Mirage G4, $139 a month. Outlander Sport, $229 a month. And Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you. O'Reilly.
Superstart batteries exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts are designed to meet the electrical demands of today's vehicles. Get dependable power and performance from a Superstart battery for your car, truck, motorcycle, lawnmower, boat, and more. Our professional parts people can help you find just what you need. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Oh, this first hour has really moved on this Friday. We got to make some picks on the Western Conference Finals. I'll let you know Giannis Antetokounmpo won his second straight NBA MVP today, so he joins some pretty good company. LeBron, Steph, MJ, Magic, Steve Nash, Tim Duncan, Bird, Wilt Chamberlain, Moses Malone, Bill Russell. Those are pretty.
That's Hall of Fame bound.
Pretty darn good. Pretty good company to be with. And we'll see if Giannis sticks around with Milwaukee in the long run, or if he does not. I hope he does. I really do. It's just
I do too.
I think
Hope he does for
we're
us.
all pulling for the small market teams, right? Exactly.
We are. We all have that kinship with them because as they go, kind of the rest of us will go. And I'm so glad that the awards across sports are voted on before the playoffs hit, where you're not as prejudiced by what you just saw in the playoffs. I don't know if that would have hurt him, but it might have opened up some other candidacies. But from opening night in October through the end of the regular season in the bubble, he was clearly MVP. I sent to our friend Carl Morris today. I said, I need your pick in the Western Conference. His reply was, seriously, Brett.
Right.
So who do you think he took?
Well, I know he took the Lakers. That's his favorite team of all time.
He did.
And it's hard not to take the Lakers. If you take a look at LeBron, and we talked about this in the very beginning of the show. I think it was part of the top story of the day. LeBron James, whether you like him or not, LeBron James has lived up to the billing ever since he was a kid. I like LeBron
James.
There's a few people that are proteges that you hear about as children, and they come through and live up to it and become Hall of Famers or greatest of all times. And, you can talk about Tiger Woods. You can talk about LeBron. I mean, these are two guys.
Peyton Manning.
Well, Peyton Manning is the same way, where you've got a lot of pressure on you because you have to live up to the impossible and you exceed.
Now, young Arch Manning is kind of having that.
And then you couple that with Anthony Davis, who's having a marvelous bubble. I think he's averaging 27 and 11 or thereabouts.
And Frank Vogel. Great job he's done, Dave. It's hard coaching a team with stars.
And as good a run as the Nuggets have had with Jokic and Murray, and Michael Porter for that matter. And I think when you look at it and you just try to whittle it all down, Lakers with 2 stars like that, they're too much. They're going to win. Lakers in
Dave
6.
takes the Lakers. Drew?
You make your pick first.
Okay, I'll make mine first. Here's the standings. Carl at 10. Dave, you and I both are at 9. Drew's at 8. So everybody's still mathematically alive. I'm going to take the Nuggets. I'm going to take the upset and kind of, I don't know if it's Adam Silver's worst nightmare to have those Miami and the Denver Nuggets in the finals, but that's my finals prediction.
Wow.
Drew?
I'm going to try not to overthink it. Lakers in 6.
You and I the same
Very
way.
good.
That's a rare thing. That worries me. That really worries me for sure. All right, so that's it. You and Carl, actually 3 Lakers, 1 Nuggets. You're always the contrarian. Best of luck to you, my friend. Thank you for giving us the title.
Thank you, Dave. I could really feel the sincere you being there for me in that comment. I really could feel it. Thank you.
I meant to ask you, what did the Cardinals do yesterday?
You're doubling down on the sincerity. Sean Tui right once again. I hope you listen during services. Thank you, Dave. Really, the sincerity is gripping. It's touching. I feel it. Do you see me emoting in the camera?
Hold on. Hold on.
I can feel it.
Let me look.
I can feel it, Dave.
I was on another thing.
Deep down in my.
Look at that smile. Oh, he's holding up fists. I love it when he does that.
That was my televangelist fist.
I loved it. That was you and Joel Osteen. That looked good.
You got it.
That looked good.
We're often linked.
This final portion of hour number 1 is brought to you by the good folks at Edwin Watch. When you say watch, you're talking golf in Memphis. It is. Where else would you go to find the latest in any equipment? Where else would you go to find the latest in GPS or rangefinders? Where else would you go to find the latest in apparel? Where else would you go to find the latest in shoes? It's always you go there. They have the greatest selection, the best prices. We used to go to our own country clubs and the clubhouses, the pro shops. Nobody does that anymore. They go to Watts. And when you walk in there, you'll know somebody. And here's the best thing. The best guarantee. It's called the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. If something is not right, Jay Hasselman says, give it to me here. Take this. Hey, that's the way he works. He really does. And there's a passion there. And look, they got 2 computers to look at your flights, see what your swing speed might be. They got a putting green there. Everything breaks toward 240. I'm just telling you, this is the place everybody in Memphis goes for golf. Go see them. I-240. And Poplar, that's Edwin Watts Golf, and that's an hour in the books. When we come back, we go to the U.S. Open, which looks more like the U.S. Open now. Rex Hoggard from the Golf Channel will come your way in a minute.
Hi, folks. Good news for bargain hunters and bandits from the Chevy Sheriff in Collierville. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Chevy. Over 500 Chevys and used cars in stock just in time for the Sunrise Low Price Rodeo. Factory rebates up to $7,500. Sunrise discounts high as $8,000. And don't forget, Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good body shop? Bring it to Sunrise. We work on all makes and models. Remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought it. Buy American and buy from Sunrise. Find new roads to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. 385 in Houston Levy and Collierville. Chevys cost less at Sunrise, partner.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, Call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elders Roofing Solutions.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in, hour number 2 on another fabulous Friday. Sort of a sad Friday. We told you at the very beginning of the show, Tom the Tiger 3, Tigers of Memphis Tom, passed away today, right before he got to the age of 12. Our condolences to Scott Foreman and his family, the ones that were the sponsors of the Tiger. I know it's a devastating loss for him. Also today, Houston and Baylor, a game that was put together in about an hour after the Tigers were not able to play Houston. Baylor couldn't play. That was postponed. Florida Atlantic and Georgia Southern canceled today. The battle for Atlantis that was supposed to be down in the Bahamas, that is officially canceled now. We'll see if that grouping gets played at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or if the Tigers go a different direction. All that to be determined. And today, the U.S. Open returned like the U.S. Open. 18,
it really did.
18-mile-an-hour winds.
You want a U.S. Open? Well, by golly, we had one today.
We did. And I guess he's probably wedged himself between two trees, holding on for dear life. That would be Rex Huggard from the Golf Channel, who's at Winged Foot. How are you, Rex? You holding on today? We finally got a U.S. Open again. What, 4 guys under par, 5 at even par, and that would mean 135 over par.
Yes, exactly what you would expect. And I am not wedged between two trees, but I'm bundled up because it is cold. Yes, I did not expect this at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, you might have to go to that famed pro shop and get an extra layer. It has just looked great on TV, Rex, and the USGA and the golf world about to pull off this crazy year. And for a brief, shiny moment, we can kind of forget about all the stuff that we haven't had this year, including patrons and fans at a lot of places, including Memphis. But it looks like the weekend's going to be a pitch battle. I know this. We will never have another Sunday afternoon with National Football League on and a U.S. Open in golf on ever again.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. And we'll be able to have this exact same conversation in just a couple of weeks at the Masters.
Yeah.
There will be college football on as well. So, it's a different year. I think everyone who is here on property, we were just having this conversation with a colleague of mine saying how it feels almost surreal when you're on property without fans and everything's just kind of greeted with silence. And at first, it sort of throws you. But then I went home after one of the first tournaments I covered. And I watched some basketball playoff games. I watched some football games, some hockey games. And you realize that as a TV product, people at home aren't digesting it that way. To them, it's just the U.S. Open. And it's everything you expect. It's the thick rough. It's the tough lies. It's the thick greens. It's the high scores. Everything that makes the U.S. Open is right there. And I don't think not having fans, at least to the folks at home, even matters.
If you're watching on TV, it certainly doesn't, because the drama is still there. And I know guys like Rory McIlroy have said they really miss the motivation they would get from crowds, and that's probably true. But you better be focusing on what you've got. And some guys have really struggled today. One of the stories yesterday was Davis Thompson, the first amateur since Bobby Jones in 1925 to go under par at Winged Foot, and he's 10 over today through 14. And then there's Tiger Woods. We had high hopes for Tiger. He was even par through the first 16 holes yesterday, finished his double and bogey for 3 over, and today he is 6 over par. What's happened with Tiger Woods, Rex?
I think if you look at what's happened to him all season long, I don't think this just arrived when he landed in New York City. I think this is something that he's been struggling with really since the beginning of this season and through the pandemic and with the restart. He simply hasn't been hitting his driver well.
If you go back to last fall when he won the Zozo Championship, everything seemed to be clicking then, and he's not putting well. And that's been the case all season long, and certainly when you get to a tournament like this, a golf course like Wingfoot, those are pretty much the only two things you absolutely have to have. You can get away with a lot of other stuff, but if you're not driving the ball well, if you're not putting well, it's going to expose you very, very quickly. And I think that's what Tiger figured out.
All right, what is this course? Is it a driver's course? Is it a putter's course? Is it a 150 yards in course, or is it the unthinkable? It's all those. What is it, Rex?
Probably a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, if I had to pick it. I mean, you absolutely cannot play this golf course not from this rough. Maybe the rough they have next year at this time for the members is a little bit different, but we've seen it time and time again. You just can't advance it anywhere near the green. If you get into the thick stuff, you're not going to end up getting a lie. You just won't get lucky. And that's just the case. So you're going to have to put it in play. And you've seen players throughout the course of this week do things differently, just to do whatever they can to put it in the short grass just to try to control the golf ball. And then once you're on the greens, it's not Augusta-esque. It's not really requiring that much out of your short game. But certainly, I mean, we've seen some shots today that require a lot of imagination. I mean, there's a lot of breaks to these. There's some humps and some bumps. And those two things combined is really where the test is. And there's no let-up. I mean, it doesn't matter really what you do. Every single shot's got to keep you on your toes. Or Bryson was talking about it after his round today. If you fall asleep on one shot, it can lead to a big number very quickly.
Yeah, I guess there's only one hole, they say, that is not demanding, still not easy, and that's number 9. Is it fair to say the two most difficult golf courses in the major championship rotations are in this country, this golf course, and in the world, it would be Carnoustie? Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, I think Oakmont would probably be in this conversation somewhere if you start talking about it. I think if you're asking players and in their heart of hearts, if they're being honest, they will tell you that Oakmont feels a little tricked up and that they feel like they take that over the top a little bit too much. Whereas even today, where we've seen a U.S. Open, we've seen the scores you expect to see at a Wingfoot Open, there is a begrudging respect. Look, guys will admit it is hard. And you're going to make big numbers. You're going to get them lucky out there. But they all, to a man, agree that it's a very good test. Whereas Oakmont, sometimes guys feel like it gets a little bit over the top. So in that context, yeah, I think you nailed it. Carnoustie and here would be the two.
That is a great question, Dave. Rex Hoggart, our guest from Golf Channel. You can see him. You can read him all over the place at golfchannel.com and see him on NBC and Golf Channel's coverage there, as well as the weekend comes before us. And Rex, what will be the cut line? It's moved about a little bit. I don't know that the +7s are in, but the +6s are looking a lot better than they did at one time.
I think it's going to be 7. If you looked at it, I was talking with someone earlier today that he's kind of a stats guy, and he follows this kind of stuff, and he predicted 6. But if you kind of look at the way it's trending right now, it's not any easier on the golf course, and we're starting to get towards the end. I think the 7s are going to be in.
I think I need 8 for Tommy Fleetwood, don't I?
Yeah,
you do need 8 for Tommy Fleetwood.
No, I don't think he's gonna. I don't think it's gonna get there. Tell me a little bit about Bryson DeChambeau. We know he started off really, really good in this restart, and then he's just done a flaky thing, which is hard to say for a genius because he probably is, but he does a flaky thing, it seems like, all the time, and I'm waiting for that to happen here because you can't try to overpower a U.S. Open course. You have to have attention on every shot, and you've got to play a little bit more conservatively. Is he capable of winning this Open Championship?
He is, but not for those reasons that you just pointed out, and I don't disagree with anything that you just said, but I mean, talking with him yesterday, talking with him today, he's happy with where the experiment's going, and he has no interest and no desire to dial it back. He's going to hit driver as often as he possibly can. He's going to try to overpower this golf course, and there is a method to his madness. I mean, he's just not standing on tees trying to wail away. The goal would be to hit a driver straight on every hole. He concedes that, and he's not going to do that on every hole, and so the next best thing in his mind is to miss it in the right spots. And the example that I used this morning when I was talking about him on Golf Channel was yesterday he missed half his fairways for the day, but only one of those holes led to a bogey, which means more or less he missed in the right spot. That, okay, he had a difficult shot coming up next, but it was the best possible difficult shot. And you have to kind of think ahead. It's a chess match. And so he's doing that very, very well. I don't think this style of golf is going to win a U.S. Open, not on this golf course. I have been wrong before when it comes to Bryson DeChambeau, and I think it'll be entertaining to find out if I'm wrong again this time. But it's hard to imagine how him going into the weekend, and this golf course is getting more and more difficult, he's going to keep wailing away, and eventually he's just going to lead to a very, very big number.
So at the end of the weekend, what will be the winning score, and how far is too far back right now? So give me Sunday afternoon and give me too far back now.
Too far back is pretty straightforward. I was just kind of looking at that. I think +3, and that includes, and only more because of the names and the numbers, to be honest with you at this point, but that includes your Dustin Johnson, that includes Rory McIlroy at this point. And I just think those guys they have the firepower to turn around a 4, 5, 6, 7-stroke lead over 36 holes. So I would go with 3 over is right about where you need to be as far back. And the winning score, at the beginning of the week, I said 6 over. I'm going to adjust that a little bit because I think the first round did play a little bit easier than I anticipated, but it's going to be over par. I'm estimating somewhere around 2 or 3 over.
So you are thinking, because I said yesterday it was easy because of time constraints, 144-man field, worried about the sun. So they didn't set it up as tough as they would for the weekend. So do you think we will see a killer setup for Saturday and Sunday?
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, I thought it was almost comical yesterday that people on Twitter were complaining about how easy it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't a U.S. Open, and you just knew in the back of the USGA's mind they had this one under control. They've let major venues get away from them in the past. They've made mistakes, and it sort of haunted them. This isn't one of those issues. This is one they know exactly what they need to do to this golf course. They don't have to trick it up. We see it every single time we show up here, and they're going to dial it up on the weekend where anything around even par is going to be a very, very good score.
I'm sorry, Dave. Rex, you had a great tweet earlier today, and it was poignant. It was a little bit melancholic. Phil Mickelson in the middle of 18 fairway, and you tweeted this is the last time in championship play he'll ever play winged foot 18, and boy, he's had some travails there.
Yeah, a little melancholy. I wrote a column, and it was a little melancholy. It kind of came full circle. I mean, he's been chasing that U.S. Open, the one that's always gotten away from him, career Grand Slam, everything that goes into it. And I honestly believe that last year was probably his best chance, his last chance of winning a U.S. Open, simply because Pebble Beach is a little bit more suited to his game right now. But when you kind of look at where he is in his game at 50 years old right now, and you look at where golf is trending, these golf courses are only getting longer and more difficult, more penal, all those things that make it difficult for Phil. I think that the sun is set on his drive to get that U.S. Open. And it was kind of melancholy because in his mind, you know how much that's been an unrequited love, right? I mean, this is the one he's wanted the most. He's poured his heart and soul into it, and it's just not going to come to pass.
It's a little like Arnie, isn't it? Arnold Palmer didn't get, what was it, the PGA? And to get the career
Tom Watson
Grand
didn't
Slam.
get a
PGA. But there's to me that charisma and the way the crowds loved, and there's a little bit of Arnie in Phil, and I kind of liken that. Do you find that a fair comparison, Rex?
Oh, absolutely. And as I was kind of going through, there's 6 runner-up finishes to go through when you talk about Phil's legacy at the U.S. Open, and the 2 at Bethpage, 2002 and 2008, I kind of walked away thinking the legacy there is that he earned that title, People's Champion, during those 2 Opens. The New York crowds gave him that title, and it's because he's so engaging. And he will go out, and I've seen it time and time again over the course of my career. It does not matter if he shot a 79 or a 69. He was going to be signing autographs for an hour after the round. I think if anybody was negatively impacted by the fact that there aren't any fans back on golf courses right now, it's Phil, because he feeds off of them so much.
Interesting. Very interesting. Rex Hoggard, today it was quite the opposite for Justin Thomas. What a humbler today. 65 yesterday, and today it's been a battle royal.
And I think when you kind of look at the way JT's season has been going, I fully expect him to rebound tomorrow. I don't know I wouldn't count him out at all. He's simply too good of a ball striker. The trick yesterday was he made some putts, and I think he's on the right track when it comes to that. But I think everyone is going to get got. Sorry, that's a Florida thing, but everyone's going to get got at some point on this golf course simply because there's mistakes being had, and there's no way around it. Eventually, you're going to get a bad bounce. Eventually, you're going to end up in a spot that you simply can't score from, and JT found that out today.
He just actually birdied the 12th hole, so he's now 1 under, so he's only 3 behind. And you're right, he's a guy that could come back. What if I give you? I'm going to give you 3 names here. Patrick Reed, who has the lead after he shot 66 yesterday. He's even par today. I will throw out Harris English, who's a former FedEx St. Jude Classic winner, who is through 15 today, even today, 2 under, so he's only 2 off the pace. And then there's Xander Schauffele, who we got to know in Memphis when he qualified for this U.S. Open, not this one, but a U.S. Open. He qualified at Germantown Country Club and was nobody knew who the heck the kid from California was until he won that qualifying, and he's going on to be great. Of those 3, which guy you think has a chance to battle, say, with Justin Thomas or DeChambeau?
I love Xander, and I think his game is trending in such a good direction. But out of that list, I've got to take Patrick Reed. For no other reason than I did a note on him this morning. Just no one has a better short game right now on the PGA Tour than Patrick Reed. And as we've explained, as we've seen, as Wingfoot has taught us time and time again, you're going to miss greens. And he missed 6 greens yesterday and got up and down 5 times. That is a recipe for success at Wingfoot. So I think he's going to be tough to beat this week.
One other name I think would be a favorite. How about John Rahm? He's 1 over, so he's not far off the pace. He's through for the day. He was 2 over today after finishing with a 69 yesterday, and we know what he's capable of.
Full disclosure, he was my pick at the beginning of the week, so I'm still going to ride him as you would on a good horse anytime. And the reason is obvious. If you look at the 2 toughest golf courses since the PGA Tour restarted in June, that was Olympia Fields for the BMW Championship and Muirfield Village for the Memorial. Statistically, those were the 2 toughest courses. He won both of those tournaments. He has a game right now, even though everyone likes to still kind of look at the emotions, and if he can control his emotions on the golf course, I think he can, and I think every aspect of his game fits very, very well with these difficult, demanding tests. So I love where he's at right now.
Let me ask you 2 last guys. Tony Finau. Why hasn't he won yet? Is he one of the better names out there with his length that has not won one? And here's an old one who I am shocked is in all of this, and that's Bubba Watson, who finished he's 1 under today. Shot a 69 in only DeChambeau, I think. Well, he had the 69 as well. Those 2 scores, those 2 guys.
It's kind of a blind spot for me. I have more faith in Tony Finau than I probably should, given his record. He's won once on the PGA Tour, and it was an opposite field event. I don't like to take anything away from the opposite field events. I feel like if you win on tour, you beat a very, very good field. But the amount of faith, the amount of confidence I have in him sort of goes beyond that 1 win. So I would pick Tony in that situation for a lot of reasons. But I just think his power, everything he brings to the table on a golf course like this. The other half of it is, I mean, for Bubba, I talked to him today after he came off the golf course, and that was a heck of a round.
Yeah.
I think when you talk about Bubba, though, you have to talk about that attention span. Because on normal golf courses, that's probably not that big of a deal. But, I mean, Bubba just has a tendency to get distracted too easy. And if you get distracted here, man, it's over.
Yeah,
You're right.
When you can hear that noise a few years ago at Hartford at the Travelers that nobody else heard, and he got so irritated over it. Man, out there you can hear Chappaqua from there.
Oh, and I mean there is people on property, even though we talk about not having fans, but there's only a handful, and that almost makes it worse because now you have one person in a field 100 yards away moving, and that's distracting. So it's sort of reverse of what you might think.
It's going to be a great weekend. We can't wait to watch it all unfold. Can't wait to talk to you when you get to Augusta in a few weeks.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it. Stay warm.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
That is Rex Hoggard from the Golf Channel on what I think is going to end up being a terrific. I think you could go more than 3 over.
I do too, Dave. And normally I'm more conservative at this time of the week than you, but you have nailed it all year. Anytime I've asked that question on Friday with golf analysts or when we've just been chatting about it, you're always more of a broader field than I. And I think this week it's more broad. Keep eye on your guy. Colin Morikawa was kind of pulling a little bit what he did at the PGA. If he could get one or two back today, look out.
Where is he at this very moment?
I think at this moment he's plus.
Oh, he's
5.
+6. No, he's +6.
+6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's inside the cut line, but he got
is,
one or two back. If he got one, if he got to 4, I think he's very dangerous.
Well, there's a couple of guys you got to keep an eye on. Jason Day is +6. So is Justin Rose. Colin Morikawa. That's 10 strokes, but you do have 2 days. You just have to play a perfect day, and don't forget, everybody else is going to come back, as Rex was saying. Ricky Fowler is there. Let's see other big names I'm looking for. There's really not a lot of talent. There's a bunch.
I wish I'd ask Rex
6.
this. I wonder what the weekend total will be to win it.
It'll
just
be
the Saturday, Sunday, 36.
It'll be over par. It'll be over par. And
would
the threes do
would
have
144 over the weekend win it? That'd be 72-72.
And the threes have a lot of talent, including Adam Scott, Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson, Daniel Berger, Lee Westwood. So I could see why he said 3. There's not that many
Sunday
big names at
afternoon
4 or
TV.
5, but there's big names at 6. So I don't know if it can go.
I'm
that
telling
far.
you, Sunday TV. If you're like us, and if you're listening, you are. I mean, it is junky sports TV on Sunday. You can really. I mean, it's a drip IV Sunday afternoon.
It's going to be incredible. It really is. It's almost as incredible as the James Davis Men's Store clearance sale. I've never seen 70 to 80% off spring and summer merchandise like they are having right now at James Davis Men's Store. And they've got a great selection of sports coats and sports shirts, and you'll look good. I mean, really good in that next Zoom call. And you got to look sharp, even on Zoom. They do have amazing brand names that are 70 to 80% off. When I say Peter Millar and Stenstrom, Mac 5 Pocket, Brax, Hiddle, I'm talking about some beautiful merchandise. And 70 to 80% off. And my favorite thing, honestly, about James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center, besides these clearance sales, my favorite thing is the Stant Custom Fit procedure. It's nobody does this, and the only place in Memphis that will offer you the Stant Custom shirt or pants is James Davis. You don't find it anywhere else. This is where you go in, you get 3 measurements, and a week later you got the perfect fitting shirt for $98. Really. Or now they're doing pants, same thing, measurements, algorithm, computer is just brilliant. And a week later, for $168, the perfect fitting pair of pants, not just in your waist, but around your legs. It never gets baggy, perfect length. It's amazing. Custom Stant, only at James Davis. And again, while it lasts, 70 to 80% off on this final clearance sale. Please go see Shine and all the guys at James Davis. We are back in just 1 minute. It'll be time to talk high school sports with our coach, Glenn Rogers. He is next.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage. Factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Great news, sports fans. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse is now open for dine-in service. Make a reservation and enjoy a mouth-watering steak dinner. Or, if you prefer, take it curbside. In addition to their fantastic steaks, the Butcher Shop Steakhouse has a variety of entrees, including Canadian lobster tail, crab stuffed shrimp, hand-seared red snapper, and fresh ground steak burger with portobello mushroom sauce. Planning to cook out? The Butcher Shop Steakhouse offers a great selection of fresh Angus beef, hand-cut steaks and burgers, lamb chops, Atlantic salmon, and more. Make your reservation for dine-in or pre-order for curbside pickup. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse. Dine-in, curbside, and delivery. Plus, enjoy the sizzle of top-quality Butcher Shop steaks on your own grill. Call us at 757-4244 and visit our website, thebutchershop.com, for menus and more. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, Walnut Grove and Germantown Parkway.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome in. It's a portion of the program, so we get set to talk with our coach, Glenn Rogers, about high school football this week and about the decision by Superintendent Joris Ray not to allow Shelby County schools to play. We'll get his take on all of that in 1 second. I'll let you know this portion of the program is also brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team. They are a team. Matt and his professionals have access to 10 leading companies. So they're going to find the right home and the right auto insurance program that fits your needs and your budget. He takes care of you. He sits you down. He'll find out what you have, what your needs are. He marries those two things about as well as anybody else. If you need commercial insurance, well, he's got teams ready for that too. They've got virtually unlimited access to programs to protect small and mid-sized businesses. So you're talking Eflin team with personal insurance and business. Not many are able to do both as well as they do at Eflin. And don't forget life insurance. Well, the Eflin Group's got you covered there as well with quotes from 15 well-respected companies. You never wonder if you've gotten a good deal. With so much choice, he marries the perfect one for you. Call Grant, Andrew, or Heath. They're standing by. They'll give you a quote today. That number's easy, 901-386-GRRR for GER. That's 901-386-4777. They are big supporter Tigers. That is the Eflin Insurance Group. So a big decision was made this week by the superintendent of schools. A lot of people have weighed in coach at MUS. He gets to play right across the street at Ridgeway. They don't get to play. Glenn, what's the coaching world talking about today when it comes to the Joris Ray decision about no fall sports, no football for the foreseeable future for Shelby County schools?
Well, good afternoon, Dave, Stats, Drew, and all our listeners. I think it's a very disappointing day, Dave, for especially for the coaches and the senior athletes. These guys won't get a chance, and the young women. These young women who play volleyball and these young men who play football, and they won't get a chance to do that. And so I really feel bad for the seniors and also the coaches that have been working hard with these young men and young women the last 4 years of their careers.
And Glenn, you're right about for the seniors, and I just hope now more than ever, and I've always enjoyed it. I want to be candid with people. I've never been in person, but I'm glad they do it, and I think it is a productive thing. I hope the AutoZone Liberty Bowl this year, now more than ever, that they have their all-star game. It could be some of those youngsters' only competitive football game and the last great best shot at showing some college football coach what they can and can't do.
Exactly, Stats. And, you think about it, Stats and Days, a lot of these juniors, they don't get a chance to showcase anything for coaches to see this year. It really hurts with recruiting with a lot of these young men and young women. And so I just feel bad. It's a way to do it, Dave and Stats. You can play games and be social distance. You can play games and be safe. This is our second ball game. We've been practicing since June, and we've only had 4 active cases on our entire team. And so, it's a way to do it. You got to spend the money. You got to get the thermometers. You got to keep the masks and hand sanitizers. The coaches got to be active and diligent. The parents got to be diligent, and the boys got to be honest with what they're doing outside of football, so we can do a good job at tracing. But it's a way it can be done to keep kids safe.
I am really glad that you mentioned, Brett, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School Classic, because I've actually spoken with Steve Earhart about this particular game, and he was asking me about it, and I said, I would tell you this. I know that Dr. Ray, the superintendent of schools, has talked about having combines, trying to get college coaches to come to these things. Well, this has been established as a place not just to watch like a combine. You get to watch these teams in practice, but then you get to see them compete against one another in a game setting. And so I think more than ever, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School Classic game will be in need. This is, and I hope the superintendent of schools will allow those players, and I think you would at that point, to play, because this is their shot to be seen. And how many, Steve's given us the numbers over the years. How many guys have have gotten
Miller
college scholarships that might not have gotten them if not for that game?
Terry Poe.
Terry Poe. And Glenn Rogers, Don Terry Poe today, I don't know his business. It's public information. I'd say net worth of $50 million.
Easily should be somewhere around that. But Dave and Stats, this. The thing I worry about, even with the high school Liberty Bowl game, will these guys be in shape to play in that game? If they're not practicing and being active with coaches,
well, that's on them.
Will they be in shape to play?
Well, you know what? They can physically be in shape. Will they be in football shape? Will they be able to take contact? Which is what do they say? There's like 10 days you've got to have of hitting before you're really your body's attuned to it. That Glenn, I can't answer that for you,
but you know what else could happen that day, Coach and Dave? There could be somebody that's been sitting out there ready to lay the wood to somebody, and it might be some of the hardest hits ever passed at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Game.
And then we always got to think about the weather, the rain, the weather, and then Dave and Stats. My thing is, Dr. Ray is talking about these combines. That's a lot of these combines, Dave and Stats, that these college coaches just cannot attend because of the NCAA regulations, rules. And so it ain't a guarantee with these combines that these kids are going to be seen, because even right now, college football is a dead period. So you talk about having a combine. A lot of these times when you talk about doing things, these college coaches are busy getting ready for games, and then after that, it's a dead period because they're getting ready for signing day.
It's unprecedented, and you know he's doing it for the right reason. He really wants to protect the kids, but you know other schools have proven now that it can work and be successful, and now Shelby County is the only school district I think in the entire state that will not be playing. So it is a bold move. It's a move where he's trying to protect his kids, so you have to respect that. But it is a move that has many people wide-eyed since we are the only ones not playing. There is a interesting game. Christian Brothers at Pope John Paul, Eli Savoy on the call tonight at 7 o'clock. Give me your sense of Pope John Paul. They're undefeated. They're 4-0 against a 3-1 Christian Brothers team that I know you know very well now, Glenn Rogers.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You know, I tell you, Antoine Roberts, the running back for Pope John Paul, he and Dallas Hayden, I think, are two of the premier backs in this state and probably in the country. Roberts is committed to Wisconsin. He's a senior. Dallas Hayden is a junior. And so it'll be the running game who's going to take charge. And I know defense who's going to be able to stop the running game. And so I think it'll be a great game. You know, it's going to come down to who gets the stop. It's going to come down to special teams, the kicking game. Can somebody take advantage of that area? And it's going to be a tough out for Christian. Going up there, we went up there last year, Dave, and Antoine Roberts didn't play. And we went into overtime to pull that victory off. And it's a tough place to play. The fans are right there on top of you. It's going to be an exciting atmosphere up here in Nashville tonight for that ball game.
And another great atmosphere tonight is what the MUS Owls will be a part of as you face the Big Red from Montgomery Bell Academy, MUS against MBA. And I've seen that game at John Stokes Stadium, and that'll be a good one tonight in Nashville.
Absolutely, Stats. And, you know, my dad and I, I rode up here with my dad and I rode up together. He's with me to see the ball game. And David Stats, I can't tell you, the site of this campus is unbelievable. There's cranes and buildings up everywhere. They're building a brand new indoor. It's going to have a simulated golf course. I mean, it's so many things going on this campus. Construction guys everywhere. My hat's off to the NBA and the people who are in charge, the donors, the alumni. This thing is unbelievable. It just looks incredible because I was up there 2 years ago, and it looks nothing like 2 years ago when I was up there.
That's amazing.
It's going to be a great ball game. Their quarterback is a sophomore. He's got a lot of offers. Reed, his dad's the head coach at Tennessee State. The NBA is a solid ball player. They don't have a bunch of stars, a star-studded bunch of 4- and 5-star guys, but they got a solid unit up front on offense and defense, and they just do a good job of coaching these guys up and just playing mistake-free football. So we got our hands full tonight, Dave and Stats. We got to be on our toes on defense. And on offense, we have to move the football and take advantage and put points on the board.
MBA sounds like a college campus. It looks so beautiful. I'm really impressed. Another really great game tonight. Bartlett, the upset winner last week over Christian Brothers. That was stunning. They're at South Haven. They've only played one game, South Haven has, but they are 1-0. So you got 1-1 against 1-0. What do you think happens in that game?
Well, I tell you one thing, Bartlett, their defense stiffened up toward the end of that game and stopped Dallas Hayden. And, Bartlett with his second-year coach, the guy's doing an amazing job, outstanding job of getting his kids to believe. To go into the Tom Nick Stadium last week and get an upset over Christian Brothers, that's a big deal and a big feather in your cap for his program and all the people in the Bartlett community. It's going to be a tough out in South Haven tonight. But I think they can go down there and get it done because Bartlett has shown last week they can go be road warriors.
They're going to have to stop this South Haven receiver, a guy named Isaiah Brevard, who apparently is an Oregon commit. And he is one of the top-ranked prospects for the class of 2021. So that'll be interesting to watch, that matchup with their defense that you talked about against that kid.
Well, I think it's easy. If you ask any coach, I'm sitting in the car with a coach, my dad, it's easy to stop the passing game than it is to stop the running game. So I'd much rather go against a great receiver than a tough running back and a big physical offensive line, Dave.
Glenn, I tell you, I am envious. I was just texting with somebody on our text line. Nothing better than going off to high school football with your dad. Man, I had fun doing it with mine.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we loaded up together. We had a chance to talk and just spend some quality time with each other, which we don't get a chance to do a lot because I'm coaching. And, you know, I have a brother that's the head coach down in Holmes County, so my dad is split between markets and not going to games. So when he told me he wanted to come up, I was excited because, you know, we never really get a chance to spend a lot of time together, especially during football season.
Let me ask you about one other game. I think it'll be a dandy tonight at Houston High School. Houston now 2-2, taking on an Arlington team that is 3-1. How do you break that game down?
Well, I tell you, Arlington is off to a great start. You know, Houston has kind of struggled a little bit. You know, we kind of know why that running back they have is at Arkansas State doing a heck of a job running the ball. For
Lincoln Perry? Yeah,
Lincoln Perry. So we saw him last week against Kansas State break off a couple of big runs. And, you know, it's like any team. When you lose guys like Lincoln Perry and some of those offensive lines, you're going to struggle out the gate. You know, hopefully Coach got it turned around. But what a great season for Arlington right now. 3-1 start. We go there next week, David. I tell you, it's going to be a ball game that's going to be very interesting. And, you know, to me, that's a toss-up game because Arlington right now has a lot of momentum, and Houston is trying to gain some momentum. So that's going to be a very interesting ball game and exciting.
2 stars in that game, too. You know, you mentioned Lincoln Perry. Houston's got a new running back, looked like Lincoln Perry last week. Ben Stiegel rushed for 5 touchdowns. And Arlington's got a heck of a quarterback. Zach Baker is his name. He threw for over 200 yards a week ago. That's a dandy of a game.
Absolutely, it is. And I know Ben Stiegel's father, David Stiegel, played at Germantown. So 2 good athletes. You're talking about Dave, and it's going to be an exciting ball game at Houston tonight.
Glenn,
and you guys play at Arlington next week, right, Glenn?
We're at Arlington next. That's one of our makeup games, and then next to the last ball game before broadcast, we travel out to Bartlett. So we got 2 really good makeup games. And Coach Allen said, "Well, what guys? What are y'all trying to do? The schedule's already tough. Y'all just made it that much more tougher." So we got our work cut out for us, Dave and Stats, later on down the road.
When you get to NBA today, and I know your dad will be with you, and he's a coach, so that's the whole thing. Will there be other fans in the stands? How do they work social distancing? What's the protocol in Nashville?
Well, we gave them a list of fans who were coming. You know, each kid, our kids could not travel on a bus, so their parents brought them up. And so we got a limited number of kids up here with us. Their parents will be able to attend the game. And so we gave them a list of who's coming, who's bringing the kids. And so they got it spaced out. They have little sections in the stadium. And so then they're going to have social distancing with their crowds. It won't be a full capacity, but they've done an excellent job of letting us put a list together who's coming with us. And then got a limited number of tickets for us. And then they have about 350 to almost 400 tickets. They're going to be available on their side.
Coach, drive safely. Be careful. Good luck to you tonight. And hopefully it's a W for you guys, and we'll talk to you next Friday.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Dave. We need a W. We need to get off the slide and get us a W. This will be a big win for us. We don't want to start the year off 0-2 in conference, and so this is a big second game of the season for us as well. He's
Glenn Rogers, Jr. You hear him on this radio program every Friday talking high school football. You have for a number of years. Thanks, Glenn. We do have to pause. We'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch, in fact, are your title sponsors for this hour of the program. I've got new technology. They wanted me to try the Sonata. Wow, I am impressed. This is the one where you can literally get out of the car in a tight space with your key fob. You can move it into the space or out of the space while you're out of the car. That's called self-parking in a whole different way. They are always ahead of the game when it comes to technology, and these cars are so durable. Mine's a 2021. The 2021s are arriving every day. Even Genesis, the new Genesis cars are coming in soon. The SUV will arrive, the long-awaited Genesis SUV. With every new car, you get a limited lifetime powertrain warranty, and with every new car now, at Homer Skelton Hyundai, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. You can't beat those Hyundais. You can't beat the Genesis cars. And you can't beat the service. This is the place that has set the bar for the way car business should be done. Go see for yourself. You'll understand what I'm talking about. This crew's been together for 13 years. They know how to treat you right and get you in the car that you want. I promise. Just get on Lamar into Mississippi. You get... at State Line Road, it becomes Highway 78. Then you're going to go to the very first exit, Craft Road. You're going to turn left, and you'll see the crew at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Back with some picking. We got to figure out Kentucky's wins and Kentucky's losses in the
tough.
SEC. It is kind of tough. I think I've got it figured. I know you have it down. We'll see what you think in just 1 minute.
R&R on Sports, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1. Don't miss us.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
And paid for by Progression. Are you being denied credit? Are you getting hit with high interest rates because of a low credit score? Bad credit happens to good people. In fact, millions of Americans are victims of incorrect or unfair items on their credit report without even knowing. But don't worry, because the Credit Repair Helpline is here for you. We'll communicate with creditors and the credit bureaus on your behalf to address unfairly reported items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies, which can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has helped hundreds of thousands of people just like you see meaningful improvements to their credit profile. Working to repair your credit today can help you get the new car, new home, or new job you've always wanted. Call 800-939-2371 now and get your free credit score. Call 800-939-2371 to start working to restore your credit. The call is free and the credit evaluation is free. So call 800-939-2371. That's 800-939-2371. Start building your credit today. Again, 800-939-2371.
Frontier Western Store is open and ready to serve you for all your needs in boots, apparel, pet food, and more. Frontier is proud to be a local leader here in the Mid-South when it comes to boots. Stop by the store today for an incredible selection of name brand work and dress boots. Come browse aisles and aisles of top quality boots at everyday low prices in our world famous boot showroom. Dan Post, Rocky, Durango, Twisted X, Georgia, Ariat, and many more. There are so many styles, colors, and fits available, you might need a hand picking out your favorites. Luckily, Frontier's knowledgeable sales staff will cheerfully assist you with any questions you have and ensure the proper fit of your new boots. Frontier also has an amazing selection of jeans and shirts by Wrangler, Ariat, and Carhartt, as well as a fully stocked women's boutique department with thousands of tops and dresses at unbelievable prices. New arrivals often. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Gilman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
So this is a little confusing here. Remember I mentioned earlier the battle for Atlantis officially canceled, and over Twitter that particular tournament, hashtag Battle for Atlantis, says we have not relocated the event to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Any reported mentions of this are incorrect. Atlantis and Battle for Atlantis is not affiliated, but then it says with the upcoming event that is scheduled to take place in South Dakota, which says to me that somebody got smart at the Pentagon in South Dakota and said, let's get some of those teams, like Memphis if we can, and everybody else that's scheduled to go to Atlantis, and we'll bring them here.
Sounds like Duke's going to do their own thing. They're going rogue and going to have their own tournament at Cameron Indoor, of course.
How can they do that?
Because they're Duke. That's how they can do it. And this is almost the story of Deion Sanders yesterday. Did anybody actually get hired at Jackson State? Can we confirm it?
No, they're not.
Not officially.
They're not going to announce it till Monday. They said that. They said they weren't doing anything till Monday. So, when we all get,
I thought everything was 2 weeks away. Now it's just on Monday, huh?
Yeah, on Monday.
I joke.
I know.
I kid.
I'm just saying to you, I don't know if that's where Memphis ends up, because that deal in Atlanta with all those schools, that might be the better ticket. And I think you can only be with one of those tournament with the 3 extras. We'll have to wait and see what Penny decides. But we know this. Nobody's going to the Bahamas this year.
And the Wolo can make more on the mileage driving to Atlanta than flying to South Dakota.
Well, I like going to South Dakota, but you're right. It's real easy for me to get to Atlanta. Hold on. I got to let everybody know this final portion for this hour.
I'm sorry.
It's brought to you by the Spirit Shop. So the weekends here, you've got to load up. I know you do, and this place is so easy. The Connor family has been in charge and owned this thing since 1969. They're just really good folks to go talk to about spirits, about accessories, anything that has to do with the business. Eddie Connor loves to chat about it. He really does. And that could be an obscure wine, maybe one that's coming up, maybe a winery you never heard of. He might not have it in the store, but he can call Washington, the state, and say, can you bring it here? If it's legal to distribute in the state of Tennessee, Eddie Connor's going to get it for you. He always goes the extra mile. Same thing with bourbons and tequilas and gin. If you've got a question or you want to know about a product, he either has the answer or he'll find the answer for you. It's family. It's just the way it is. That's a mom and pop business that has just been successful, and there's a reason why. It's the closeness of the deal. So I'm telling you, if you're ready to stock up for the weekend, it's so easily located at Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar, straight down from Clark Tower. It's that little log cabin you've seen forever. Now stop in and say hello to the Spirit Shop. Okay, now take over, Mr. Norsworthy.
This one's hard. I wanted to go crazy on Kentucky, and it'd be my really shocking team. I'm going to throw the proviso in there without the actual picks to back it up that they would be. Both Kentucky and Tennessee, both can't go 7-3 or better, so obviously fourth playing date, that's a really big game. But it starts with opening day for Kentucky. On the road, on the plains, at Auburn, and this is the perfect year for Kentucky to have to do that. They don't go down there very much. Historically, they haven't played down there very much. Mm-hmm. And if you got to go to Auburn and Alabama, this is the year to do it. Those teams are going to be good, but it won't have that 100,000 partisan fans there. I've got Kentucky next weekend, 11 o'clock early, pulling the early shocker, upsetting Auburn, then beating Ole Miss in Lexington. No DK Metcalf to bail out the Ole Miss team this year at the buzzer like it happened in 2017. They continue with a win at Mississippi State. 3-0 start for Kentucky.
Excellent.
And then it sets up the big stakes game against Tennessee, but they lose at Knoxville. They lose to Georgia at home. They win at Mizzou. They defeat Vanderbilt. They lose at Bama. They lose at Florida. And they end the year at home winning over South Carolina. 6-4. I really would. I really wish I had the stones to go 8-2, but I don't. 6-4 for Kentucky.
I am close with you. I differ only with the game at Auburn on the Plains. I don't think they'll win that game. I think they'll lose there, but then they'll win over Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I think they're going to lose in Knoxville and lose to Georgia. I think they'll spank Missouri there, and obviously the same with Vanderbilt after a week off. They'll lose 2 of the next 3. That's at Alabama, at Florida. That's expected, and then they'll beat South Carolina. I got a 5-5.
And their over and under in Vegas is 5. So you gotta push. I gotta. That'd be a painstaking W for me, Drew.
I've got 5-5 like Dave, but a little different way of getting there. I've got a loss to open the season at Auburn, then back-to-back wins against the schools from Mississippi. Win in Knoxville at Tennessee, losing the next 2, Georgia and at Mizzou, beating Vandy, losing at Alabama, at Florida, win against South Carolina, and end out the season 5-5.
Drew, no allegations here, but you know the team that really got you last year was Tennessee. I feel some big orange HATE coming from you.
I do too.
I'm not trying to hate. No, I mean, when we get to Tennessee, I'm sure that'll be one of the last few teams we do next week. I mean, it's decent. I think they wouldn't hate me for it.
In fact, we're doing Tennessee Monday.
Are you over 500 with Tennessee?
We're doing UT Monday.
Oh, no. It's HATE. You put it perfectly.
It is, Drew.
It is not.
You do. You've got it on.
Well, I mean, it's not in permanent ink yet. I can still go back and change a few of them if I want to. Right now, I have them at 4 and 6.
Oh, that's nothing. Go ahead and
that
say
is
it.
not
Nothing.
hate.
You know what? Like the big orange. Go ahead and say it.
He should not say that. He is an objective radio host.
That's right.
He has to hide his disdain. Come on. Come on.
Well, you know what? Sports disdain and sports contempt, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at how vocal I've been about those big bullies from the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then I went ahead and picked them.
Yeah, and crushing my Cardinals.
I'm just. It's just a tough year for you. I need to lighten up on that. You know that we think
I
about.
picked them to come in next to last.
It is Rosh Hashanah.
Remember,
L'Shana Tova to all our Jewish listeners, and I'm about to leave.
Yeah.
And so I will pledge to you that when I come back, I'm going to reflect. You know, you reflect between now and Yom Kippur. I'm going to reflect on trying to be a little bit more there for you, Brett. Particularly when it comes to the Cardinals and the Cubs.
I'm ready.
What about me? You took a lot of shots at me the last month or so.
On the way out last week.
Exactly.
I cannot help you with the Orioles. They're beyond help. That'll do it. Brett and Drew take over for the rest of the show for another hour. I'll see you after this weekend is over on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
I'm John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your air conditioning system tuned up? What about your heating system safety check? Good news, you can get both at the same time this month. Call Conway Services for our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash, all for only $69. And we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge. That's right, Conway Services 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up for only $69, and we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge, making sure your heating system is ready for this winter. If that's not enough, we'll include a carbon monoxide test, all for only $69. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And call this week, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57 with a free heating system safety check.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Hi, this is Troy 5-Ash, owner of 5-Ash Reef Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? 5-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
All 75 months at 2.99 APR, G4, LHFO 7472, Outlander, LU02 9957, Eclipse, LZO 15617. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 59875, excludes tax, title, and license. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details.
Gossett's Mitsubishi Madness is in full swing at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, and you'll find deals to get this party started. 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage G4 gets 41 MPG Highway. We Gossett at $139 a month or buy for $12,435. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, built to handle any adventure at $229 a month or buy for $18,573. And take the 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross for a spin at $19,107 or $229 a month. Get confidence today, tomorrow, and long into the future with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Mirage G4, $139 a month. Outlander Sport, $229 a month. And Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Plenty of sports time left between now and we get out of here at 6 o'clock. Andy Schiffman will talk NBA with us. We're down to the final 4 in the NBA, and one of those 4 really leaking oil in the Boston Celtics. We talk all things NBA with Andy Schiffman after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road, 5704 Goodman Road. DeSoto Auto Sales, 662-890-7184. Their website, DeSotoAutoSales.com, and check them out online and all the happy referrals and look at all the beautiful cars. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area, and they know very well that we are living in a world that time really matters, and that's why they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They care about your time, and they'll treat you like family. Kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales. Down-home environment at DeSoto Auto Sales. Every make, every model on the lot, all checked out bumper to bumper, head to toe, and you walk in within 45 minutes, test drive your car. Credit approved, paperwork completed, all in less than an hour, in 45 minutes or less, in time for you to do it over your lunch hour or like right now before you start your weekend. You can start it in your new car from DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. They keep it simple at DeSoto Auto Sales, and they have the customer recommendations at DeSotoAutoSales.com to prove it. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County, to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience down on Goodman Road. Andy Schiffman joins us. He's on Twitter at Priority Basketball. He's Executive Vice President of Basketball Representation at Priority Sports Entertainment, based in Chicago, native Memphian, and he has stayed with us all through the pandemic. Andy, we really appreciate it, and I know you're getting ready to start the observance of Rosh Hashanah leading into Yom Kippur. My best to you and to your family and to your friends as you start the observance here at sunset. Good afternoon, Andy.
Afternoon. Appreciate it, Brett. Thanks for having me as always. And starting observance tonight, and have to also remember to watch the Nuggets-Lakers game and coordinate that as well, because I cannot wait for that game tonight.
I can't wait either. We did our picks, and I did it just to be the guy zagging when everybody else is zigging. Everybody else took the Lakers. I took Denver, just thinking maybe they might be on that roll that they've been on, and maybe on the roll that the Miami Heat that they are enjoying. Can the Nuggets win that series against Los Angeles, or even make it entertaining and fun?
I think I'd be a fool if I said no way, because a week ago I sat here and counted the Nuggets out when they were down 3-1 to the Clippers. I'm sure a lot of people counted them out when they were down 3-1 to Utah the series before. So, look, with this team, that anything is possible, and they have proven that. And I think one of the best matchups we're going to get in any opponent or any series at all in the NBA in this recent era in the last few years is going to come tonight, starting with Anthony Davis and Nikola Jokic. I mean, Jokic has proven that he's just become a star among stars, a basketball savant. And the best part about the Nuggets is he's so unselfish. And what I love, when they beat the Clippers in Game 7 the other night, I don't know if you got to see the post-game interview with Jokic and Jamal Murray, and it was just a very authentic interview where you're looking at this as just two kids playing basketball, having fun. And that really came through, especially in Jokic's interview. And he said, look, we've got nothing to lose here. Like, we know how good we are. We just want to go out there and bring energy, effort, and just have fun. And the last two words there, have fun, that seems to get lost a lot, and everyone is just so focused. And which, look, the Nuggets are for sure, but you don't really hear that from superstars out there. They're always talking about staying the course and staying focused and locked in, and obviously the Nuggets are. But look, I think Nikola realizes this is a game and how lucky he is to be where he is, along with the rest of this team. They're extremely well coached. They're very young. They're very talented. They have momentum, to your point. The Lakers are the Lakers. They have the greatest player, arguably the greatest player in the NBA, in LeBron, even though he came in second to Giannis for MVP voting. They got them leading the charge. They got Anthony Davis. But, yes, the Nuggets can absolutely beat the Lakers in this series.
Building off of what you just talked about with the Nuggets and them having fun always seem to be better when it's win or go home
that
type of situation. I mean, it does.
Yeah.
But how do the Lakers find, if they end up moving on to the NBA Finals, how do they be the first team in this playoffs to close out the Nuggets and kind of not get off, not let off the gas pedal?
I think they've got to find a way to shut down Jokic, because there were games where Jamal Murray was a little bit cold, relatively speaking, in the Clippers series, and the Clippers did a good job of neutralizing him. But the way Jokic plays is this all-around game. They've got to find a way to neutralize him, and I think that's the key. I think if you can somehow look to Anthony Davis to try and get him in foul trouble early, maybe pick up 2-3 fouls in the first half, that'll jeopardize his longevity for a full game, and then maybe try and duplicate that game plan. It'll be really interesting. I mean, the Nuggets have so many weapons, Drew, and not to say the Lakers don't, but in the game of professional basketball, generally speaking, unless you're LeBron because he's a machine, youth wins out, and the Nuggets check that box just across the board. They're younger. They're, in my opinion, more athletic. They're more fun to watch for me. Now, obviously, being fun to watch doesn't necessarily lead to an NBA championship, but I think the key is if you can take Nikola Jokic out of the game and try to make all these other players beat you, and you saw how they kind of live and die by him in the Utah series and in this Clippers series. So I think that's got to be a focal point for the Lakers in their game plan. And then on the other side, I just think you have to let other players, you have to make sure other players don't beat you if you're the Nuggets. You're always going to get what you're going to get out of LeBron, out of Anthony Davis, but you've got to somehow manage a Kyle Kuzma or Alex Caruso or all these other players coming off the bench stepping up. And that's going to be, it's just going to be a very interesting matchup. But I think it starts with the big men.
Andy, I'm not getting anywhere near asterisk talk with this next comment, with this next thought, with this next question to you. I'm not getting near it because I'm with, I don't know who said it first or about what sport, but in this crazy year, you don't have an asterisk by it. You have an exclamation point by it with what everybody's going through just to try to get this in and for our survivability around sports. With that said, has the bubble, the very antiseptic, pretty much the equality of the bubble. Everybody fishing off the same dock.
Parity,
Quite
right.
literally, the players can go on fishing adventures
Right.
there in the bubble. Has that helped Miami and Denver?
It's hard to say if that specifically has helped these teams, because I do think one thing that a lot of players have told me has absolutely helped them is just the no travel. I talked to a couple of our guys in the Nuggets, and even earlier in the playoffs, a couple of our guys in the Jazz, and one on Toronto. And the fact that this eliminated travel, and you walk off the court, you go back to your hotel room, you're home, and you don't have to move until the next morning when it's just down the hall again for film and shoot around. That is extremely beneficial for these athletes and for these players, both physically and mentally. So in that aspect, I believe it's really helped all teams. Now, you look at what's going on with Boston, and all this news came out this afternoon about how last night after the game, Brad Stevens pulled aside the core players at midnight, 1 a.m., and had this kind of, just a call to State of the Union, so to speak, for the Celtics to try and come together and just try and mitigate the alleged yelling and screaming that happened after the game last night. I know Marcus Smart was at the forefront of that as well in the locker room. And I think one thing that is affecting a team like that is just fatigue. You've got our guy Gordon Hayward who's been out, and he's hopefully going to be playing tomorrow night. You've got these players who are away from their families now for multiple months, and you've got a team like the Celtics that have a lot of expectations, and now they're all of a sudden finding themselves down 2-0. So there are a lot of good things about this bubble, and there's teams generally like the Nuggets and like the Heat that maybe just the whole setup, to your point, is beneficial in that regard. But I think it can backfire. Look, these are all people at the end of the day. These players, they all think different. They all have different mental challenges that we don't understand on a daily basis. And so this whole notion of being removed from your family for so long, and yes, there can be family members in the bubble now, but it's just not quite the same, with all of a sudden them showing up now and you've already been away from them for so long. Just this fatigue of being shut out from the outside world for so long. You don't know, and I don't know, how that truly affects these guys. And so there's definitely a lot of benefits to it. Now, that begs the question, right? Will we see a bubble for the 2021 season? I don't think so. My personal opinion from a lot of conversations is just how the business of the league works. I don't think owners will want to do anything for next season until they are confident they will have some fans in arenas, and that might mean starting the season in February or March. That is a realistic possibility, but I just fear that the owners will stand to lose too much money if they play again with no fans, which then in turn will detrimentally affect the salary cap, like we've talked about before on Fridays, thereby leading to potentially a lockout. And I think the more money the league loses, because the more revenue the league loses, the higher the risk is of a lockout. I'm not saying we'll have one, but that's really where owners' heads are at.
There's definitely a lot of unknowns, especially past the bubble scenario in Orlando. But the way that the bubble has worked, and I think it's worked out great, like Brett said, for teams like Miami, who's been playing some great team basketball, while everybody on that team has contributed very well for them to get where they are. Who do you think has been the biggest factor to get Miami this far in the playoffs?
Well, they've got a lot of talented pieces, like you said. I especially, you see it jumping out to a 2-0 lead. I would go with Goran Dragic. He a lot of times is looked over, or let's say overlooked, because you have a Jimmy Butler, you've got a Bam Adebayo there, Duncan Robinson, exciting young player, and Tyler Hero, a lot of nice pieces, Jay Crowder. But people forget that Goran Dragic is out there just being the floor general, being the leader, and he's been doing it his entire career. We're talking about a guy, which is pretty remarkable. The guy is 34 years old, and he's not this youthful, explosive, athletic, exciting young player anymore. but he just gets the job done because of his savviness, his basketball IQ. He gets other guys involved. He's shooting the three so well. So, I mean, for me so far, you can make the case for Jimmy Butler. I wouldn't disagree on that. But for me, I would say it's Dragic.
That's a great point. Last night he had 25 points, Andy, and I used to cut out box scores from every sport that I thought had an anomaly in it, or what I would call should hang at the Louvre. In this one last night, if I was still cutting out box scores from the newspaper, we used to do things like that. I think this one would for the Miami side. Listen to this distribution of minutes and points for the Heat last night. Bam Adebayo, 35 minutes, 21 points. Jimmy Butler, 36 minutes, 14 points. Jay Crowder, 36 minutes, 12 points. Dragic, 34 minutes, 25 points. Robinson, 32 minutes, 18 points. And then sixth man, Tyler Hero, 32 minutes, 11 points. Yep. It was a thing of beauty.
And that's every game. That's every game. And you got a night where Tyler Hero shooting 1 for 8 from 3. But then you got Duncan Robinson, who's an absolute assassin from deep. He hit 6 threes. Other guys just plug the holes. They step up. And I don't think Boston can every night rely on a Jason Tatum, a Jaylen Brown, a Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker. I mean, these are all very, very good players, but they just had very little help off the bench last night outside of Ennis Camp, who actually we represent. Hopefully they will get, for their sake, Gordon Hayward back to play some limited minutes tomorrow. Will that be enough to push them over the top for a win? Remains to be seen. I wouldn't sit there and check a box and say, well, with Gordon back, they're absolutely going to win, as much as I'd like to say that, as he's our client. But they just have to have some, I would say, have some more significant contribution from some of these guys coming off the bench, and just play better as a team. And I think last night, oftentimes you see these teams get in the locker room, they have these heated discussions, these blow-ups, and they get out into the media. And look, like I talked about, this isn't the case where after the game, the team flew back to Boston and everyone's either quiet on the plane or they're yelling and shouting. Everyone retired to their respective rooms. Then they met last night, the core group with Coach Stevens. And I think a lot of times you see a positive turnaround after these sort of coming together moments. So I'm really eager to see how they come out on Saturday, tomorrow night with this game. But the other aspect of it is we're not talking about a Celtics team that is just getting slaughtered. Now, last night in the third quarter, yes, they got slaughtered. I believe they got outscored by 20. But the first 2 games have been very close. And so I don't necessarily think they have to completely change up their game plan if you're Brad Stevens. You just have to get the most out of your other players that you possibly can. And hopefully, like I mentioned, hopefully if Gordon returns, that'll definitely take a little weight off, a little pressure off these other guys' shoulders. But I think I do not for 1 second think that the Heat will sweep Boston. Obviously, I think the Heat are out in front and have a better chance to win the series now, being up 2-0. But I think it will be a competitive series. I think we could see potentially a 6-game series here.
I think you're right. I think it's definitely going to be a series that goes 6 or 7 for sure. But I want to go back to the Western Conference real quick, and especially about the team that lost to the Nuggets in Game 7 last week with the Los Angeles Clippers. What do they either need to add, maybe cut, to finally reach their first Western Conference Finals in franchise history?
Well, there's been a lot of talk, and obviously everyone is down on Paul George, kind of how he just laid an egg, not only in this last game, but just generally in the playoffs. Like, relax. He's Paul George. He's an all-star. Everyone likes to just hate on players when they hit their low points, and they just expect it when they hit their high points. That's the problem about a superstar. You're expected to be that absolute great elite player every single night. And you look at the last game that both Kawhi and Paul George had, I mean, they were a combined, 10 for 38 shooting. Paul George was 2 for 11 from 3. Kawhi was 2 for 7. And those are the two superstars that you need those guys to have a just more efficient game if you're going to have a chance against a team like the Nuggets. So I don't think you even worry about changing up this core of PG and Kawhi. I think Zubac is a great piece, a great center. Now, a lot of those Clippers games, Drew, a lot of the commentators, I think Jeff Van Gundy said it, that Zubac is absolutely a starting center in the NBA. I don't necessarily qualify it as absolutely. I think on maybe a worse team, he's a starting center, on a championship contending team, which the Clippers want to hold themselves out as, I think you can upgrade that position a little bit. Obviously, they got a lot of production from Montrezl Harrell, 6th man of the year. You could maybe go a little smaller and play him at the 5 if you wanted to, depending on the matchup. And then I just think on the bench, you just have to continue to add specialists. And you talk about JaMychal Green, Lou Williams, Landry Shamet, Reggie Jackson, Rodney McGruder. None of those players are specialists. And you can make the argument JaMychal Green is, because you've seen him in Memphis, he's a very efficient three-point shooter. But I wouldn't say he's an elite-level J.J. Redick, Kyle Korver type shooter by any means. Now, granted, he's a big man. And I just think if you can maybe add a couple guys off the bench just to come in, and your job is to shoot it when you're open, be a microwave, fill it up. I think that'll really help them in the offseason.
That is a really good point, Andy, because often with these superstar-laden teams, it comes down to the satellite guys, the role players, the extras, if you will, in the composition of that roster. Andy, thank you so much for your time today. We'll do it again next Friday. We'll have a lot more clarity. The ball's been sensational. John Harden in his show right before we came on, he made an excellent point about Jimmy Butler and his defense. That has been something to watch as well. You enjoy this weekend, Andy, and we will visit next Friday. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Andy.
You got it. Andy Schiffman talking NBA with us. That was a great point by Andy about the satellite guys. And also, John, right before we came on, I heard him make that point about Jimmy Butler and his defense. That's not Jimmy Butler's calling card. That's not why he has all those zeros on the check. But when he wants to be that guy, he can be on defense.
Oh, he definitely can be. And you've seen it throughout the entire playoffs with Jimmy that – You think that he's having this big impact on the game, right? You think that once the game's over, you're going to look at the box score and he's going to be having 30, 35, 40 points. And you look at it, he's normally somewhere around 14 to 22. But his defensive play and just the peskiness that he plays with has affected every single game in the bubble.
And, Drew, I said it earlier, and I don't really care. People probably get tired of me saying it about golf. Low man wins. And if it ends up being Miami and Denver, probably not the commissioner's dream, probably not why he went to all these billions of dollars of trouble in the bubble. And it could happen in one of my favorite sports in baseball. And a month from now, we could be looking up and getting ready for what would be the zaniest World Series combination. But whatever.
Technically, the Orioles are only 5 games out from a playoff spot right now. So
I said zany, not ludicrous.
It's not ludicrous. 5 games is not that bad.
You didn't have to go ludicrous on me. I mean, even the pop star, you didn't have to go that ludicrous on me. But however it shakes out is how it shakes out, and especially this year. No asterisk, no second guessing, no doubting the team. At some point, someday, if Denver wins it, I don't know when it'll be, they're going to have a parade and a party.
Oh, they will. I mean, regardless of who wins it, there will be a party and a parade. Hopefully, done very safely.
Party,
yes, they do, very safely.
I mean,
but
everybody's twice baked in Denver, aren't they?
Everyone that I saw when I was in Denver pretty much was. But I've slowly switched my mind from the asterisks. I think at the beginning of the bubble, I kind of said, yeah, it'd be an asterisk. You didn't play all 82. There's this zany play-in game for the 8th seed, and it's just going to look weird.
Well, but now like a year ago, doesn't it?
It really does.
The Grizzlies
feels like
on that Saturday afternoon?
Like it was 20 months ago. But now that I've seen the playoff basketball, I've seen what it looks like in the bubble. By golly, I don't know if they should, instead of an asterisk, get an exclamation point for being able to win through this. Should almost be more impressive.
That's the point that's been made, and the ball's been sensational. A lot of ratings talk, and people can't understand that we normally aren't having NBA Western or Eastern Conference Finals played on the 3rd Saturday in September, and we aren't having a U.S. Open. Do people not see that? Our friend Alan Bell that we had on a week ago with us from CBS Sportsline, he just tweeted out, and just in matter-of-fact style, the facts. Thursday night football between the Bengals and Browns up 3% year-over-year versus last year's Week 2 Thursday night football game. Was the most watched telecast of anything in TV on Thursday night. So again, anyone telling you ratings are tanking are just lying to themselves and throwing a temper tantrum. I'm not telling anybody what to do with their time or or with their TV time or with their remote control. But when you win the night, it can't be too bad.
It can't be. And honestly, last night was the first time in a while I wish I didn't cut the cord, because goodness gracious, trying to get the NFL Network on a Roku to stream for free. I had to go through.
The Roku let you down?
Well, I had to go through a lot of tunnels, a lot of back doors to get it for free, but I ultimately managed to get it on, I think it's halfway through the second quarter. But you're exactly right. The thing about the ratings that they keep bringing up, how they're down, well, you also got to remember we're not having somewhat of a playoff push in baseball during the end of May, beginning of June, when these games would normally be played. We're not having a U.S. Open throughout all this. We're not having college
or
football. Or NFL. Exactly. There's a lot of different things going on. So everybody's ratings
I watched
down
everything last night.
just because of that.
And I'll say it again. Whatever's going on right now beats you-know-what out of April and May. You can text us at 67129 at the First Bank text line or call us at 360-8255 at the First Bank phone line. First Bank, with stories and a record of customers reaching high. Community banks are the preferred lender of people building a success story. Build your success story with the great people at First Bank. Visit firstbankonline.com. That's firstbankonline.com. How are we going to settle the Stanley Cup potential tie? I've reached out to Dave and trying to get his wise sage, played junior hockey knowledge on it, and he hadn't really offered anything. He shot down the total goals.
How about this? Whoever picks the correct amount of games. So say I think that Dallas wins in 6. He says Tampa in 5. Even if Tampa loses in 5, he wins the tiebreaker. If it only goes 5 games, Dave wins. If it goes 6, I win. How about that? Total amount of games.
We got to weigh in because it gets started this weekend, doesn't it?
It does. It starts tomorrow. That might be more of a text thing tomorrow morning, but.
Will you reach out to him now? Well, he's busy now. Will you reach out with him tomorrow and get that for me?
I will try. You might have to text and remind me, but I will do it.
What if y'all agree on that? What if one says 6 and the other one says 6?
Well, it's just like with I had to take Dallas because he took Tampa. We both can't take it, so we'll flip a coin, or since he's technically winning, I'll let him pick the game total first because that's just how good of a human being I am. I'm just that nice of a guy.
That's right. That is what we come to know and love. When we come back, our Friday football forecast brought to you by our friends at First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas and First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, and they are located right here in Memphis. We go through the games and we break down the college and pro games, giving you the Friday football forecast. That's next.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
Dedicated our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Time for the Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. For real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, and recreational, contact them at fnbt.com or 901-498-5763.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, they've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Nick Sutton, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763 or fnbtmemphis.com. That's fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I've had an account and been a friend my entire life. Indeed, I have. Again, in Memphis at 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140. But in Forest City at the corner of Highway 70 and Highway 1, First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. And we are glad to have them with us again this year for Friday football forecast, particularly First National Bank and Trust in Memphis. Drew, we're going to start with the college games and start with Georgia Tech from the ACC with their big upset win last week. From when they got down 10-0 against FSU, they really controlled that game the rest of the way. And this week they play Central Florida from the American, and Central Florida a 7.5-point favorite. I think I sent that to you incorrectly. It's Central Florida, the 7.5-point favorite
corrected
over
it
Georgia Tech.
like 10 minutes later. You sent me a text
Did I?
correcting
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it is Central Florida. That's their opener. That's a big challenge for Coach Heupel and crew playing Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech getting 7.5. Dave takes Central Florida, laying the 7.5. Drew.
I'm with Dave. I'm going to take Central Florida to win and to cover. And the biggest person who should be watching this game is, and fate might depend on it, in his first year at Florida State. Because if Central Florida goes out this week and puts a whooping on Georgia Tech or even just wins, I mean, he thought the noise and the hashtag Fire Norvell was hot last week. Oh, man, you let Central Florida go out and beat the team that just beat you?
Point.
It's going to be bad in the state of Florida.
Not the 10-month start I'm sure Mike Norvell wanted at FSU, but I'm going to take Georgia Tech. I'm going to take Georgia Tech to win the football game. I have Georgia Tech winning the game. Old school score, 17-14. Jeff Collins gets out to 2-0. And on Monday, if I'm right, Georgia Tech should be ranked. They should be ranked over Ohio State. They've actually done something.
They should be ranked. I mean, obviously, that's two good programs. You'd like to think that they would have the win. And real quick before, I know we got other games to pick, but a little hard one. Is Mike Norvell's honeymoon over, or did it ever even start?
Barely started. In the honeymoon world, the mother-in-law started coming over to the house unannounced way too early in the marriage.
Sounds about right.
And now over, and it is over. And I think
shortest honeymoon in a while.
Slippery as they go. I've seen shorter. I've seen shorter. And your pick again was?
I took UCF minus 7.5.
So you're laying the points, taking UCF. Dave does as well. I take Georgia Tech to win the game straight up. I think I had Georgia Tech winning that game in our preseason picks when we went game by game with Central Florida. Notre Dame, at times, not that impressive last weekend, but at other times later in the game, they did. They wore down Duke. They're laying 25.5 over South Florida from the AAC. Give me Notre Dame, and give me Notre Dame big over South Florida.
I want to be able to take the Bulls of South Florida just because that's a lot of points. I mean, just on paper, you see minus 25.5, but, man, South Florida isn't the same South Florida we've come to know over the last 5-6 years of the American Athletic Conference. I'm with you. Give me the Irish with all them points.
And Dave does the same thing. He takes Notre Dame laying all those points. My score on that, my score projection, because I like how Bruce Marshall does it, so I try to copy him. 45-3, Notre Dame big over South Florida. Louisville in the game of the weekend, primetime Saturday night ABC ESPN game. U of L laying the 2.5 over the once and maybe future U. Dave takes Louisville. Who do you take with the U and U of L?
I'm going to take the U of L in this one to kind of show that the U, well, it ain't back. And just because you're able to put a beat down on UAB the week before doesn't mean that the U is back and it's stronger than ever, and here come the Canes. No, Louisville wins, covers pretty easily. I think Louisville wins by double digits.
Copy and paste everything you just said, every utterance. I'm with you. 35-10, Louisville. The U, it hadn't gotten back, and all three fans that they had once upon a time around here, we never hear from them anymore. College football lock, Dave's lock. He takes an underdog as his lock. You don't have to. In your shock, you have to take an underdog. He takes Marshall, the Thundering Herd, getting the 4.5 over App State, last year's darling App State. Who's your college football lock?
My lock, I'm going to take a favorite. I'm going to take the Mustangs of SMU minus 13.5 on the road at North Texas. They beat up on the Mean Green pretty easily.
North Texas wearing throwback Shades Fry uniforms in that one. That's a battle of undefeateds early in college football season. Drew takes SMU laying the 13.5 over North Texas. I've had this game circled for a while, and they've canceled it, and they've rescheduled it, and now I think they're going to play it. We'll see. Everything's kind of volatile, isn't it? Oklahoma State minus 22.5 over Tulsa, Oklahoma State. All pokes all day. 55-10 over Tulsa. Oklahoma State gets over the 22.5 easily. College football shocks. I'll go first. Last weekend, I had them plus the 22.5, and they didn't get there against North Carolina. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to take Syracuse plus the 22.5 again this weekend over Pitt. Pitt wins 24-20. Syracuse gets there plus the 22.5. Dave, he's against me in the college football lock. His shock is Tulsa plus the 22.5 over Oklahoma State. Your college football shock.
Well, my college football shock is Dave's lock, and this is why Dave he's got to learn the fine print. No, I'm with him. I'm taking Marshall plus 5.5, but The fine print, if your shock team wins outright, you get 2 points. If your lock team wins, you only get 1. Dave, you got to read the fine print. You got to know how the games are played, my friend. So give me Marshall and that phenomenal local quarterback, Grant Wells, who just went off. I know it was against Eastern Kentucky, but, man, he was dropping some dimes in that game. Give me Marshall straight up, plus 5.5 against App State.
Colin Morikawa, Dave's pick in the U.S. Open, in with a 71 plus 7. He will have some anxious moments here over the next hour. That may not be enough. Dave could have both U.S. Open picks, not make it. You beat him in the hockey. We never let him hear the end of this.
No, we don't.
NFL time, which started last night on Thursday. Dave did get robbed last night. We were so fortunate to win that one. Both of us had Cincinnati. Dave had Cleveland. Cleveland was completely the better team. It was just too many points. I said Cleveland would win by 3. They won by 5. We were getting 7.5. We both got there. Dave didn't. Next game, Dallas minus 6.5 over Atlanta. That's at noon on Sunday. My Cowboys. I picked them to be in the Super Bowl, so I'm going to stay with them week 2 after losing week 1. I have the Cowboys covering the 6.5, winning 35-17. Dave has the Cowboys covering as well. Your pick, Drew?
I'm with y'all. Show sweep. Give me Dallas minus 6.5. They're going to come back after that close loss in L.A. last week, back at friendly confines of Jerry's World. They beat the Falcons, which Falcons actually looked decent last week. For the little bit of that game that I was able to watch. Scored a lot of points, looked good, but I still just think Dallas is too much for him. Give me Dallas minus 6.5.
Another noon game on Sunday, Pittsburgh, my eventual Super Bowl winner. The defense looks the part. Got to get Big Ben rolling, 6.5 over Denver. I'm taking Pittsburgh, 31-10 over Denver. Dave takes Pittsburgh also.
We're going to have a really bad weekend because I'm also going Pittsburgh, and normally when we have a lot of show locks, it doesn't go our way, but Big Ben's going to work it out this week. They'll definitely win easy.
Another show lock. That's 2 from the pros. Did we have any from college? Yes, we had Louisville from college. But so far, 2 out of 2 in the pros. NFL lock time. Dave's, and I had this one in my group, but I didn't settle on it. He did Seattle minus 3.5 over New England. I think that's New England in name and uniforms only. Dave takes Seattle minus 3.5. I take Arizona to get off to a 2-0 start at home over Washington, Kyler Murray and company, and Coach McDreamy, Cliff Kingsbury, laying the 6.5. Arizona wins 34-17. Your NFL lock.
I wasn't really sold on a lot of games, but the one that I could at least bring myself to write down under the lock column, I'm going to take the Bills minus 5.5 down in South Beach. Josh Allen is starting to finally impress me. I'm starting to finally come around on the Josh Allen train. So if he wins me this lock this week, I guess I'll get on board.
And that's 5.5. Is that correct?
5.5.
5.5. I'm there on Buffalo's defense. I'm just not there yet on him. I may be late to it. I was very late to Jimmy Garoppolo last year. I'll admit that. I could be late to it this year with the Buffalo QB. NFL shock time. Rams for Dave. Rams plus 1.5 over Philly. That'd be a 2-0 start for the L.A. Rams. He has the Rams plus 1.5 over Philly. I have the Giants plus the 5.5 against Dave's Bears. And I have the Giants winning the game straight up at Soldier Field 20-17. Your NFL shot.
Ooh, Danny Dime's going to go off apparently in week 2.
I hope so. I need it for my big bet with Dave on the year total, the over and under on Bears. Remember that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, for you, I'm rooting for you, but I get lunch either way. So
you really do.
I mean it's pretty good to be me neutral in y'all's lunch bets. But my shock of the week. Not to win. I don't think they're going to win. I just think it's a little bit too many points. I'm going to say Minshew Mania continues at least a little bit longer for the next week in Nashville. They lose the game, but it's a close one. Give me Jacksonville plus 7.5 at Titans.
Jacksonville plus 7.5 over the Titans. I think I kind of like that. And the Titans are going to try to work some fans in at this game and a little more as the season rolls on. We'll pick Monday Night Football on Monday afternoon about 4:50 or so. When did we do it last week? About 4:50.
I believe 4:50.
When we do our NFL, when we do our performers of the weekend, who won the weekend from NFL and college, and also our extreme overreactions. We'll do that on Monday. But that's been your Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas for real estate, commercial, ag, hunting, anything you need, recreational. Contact them at fnbt.com. That's fnbt.com, or call them at 901-498-5763. They're at 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis. So we are closing in on the 36-hole cut at the U.S. Open at Wingfoot. I mentioned Colin Morikawa. He has completed his round at +7. That may make the cut. Looks like right now it would make the cut at 7. That +7 is exactly the cut line. Tommy Fleetwood will not make the cut. The 36-hole leader is Patrick Reed at -4, Bryson DeChambeau at -3, Rafa Cabrera Bello, Harris English, Justin Thomas, all at -2, Jason Kokrak. Boy, we need Harry Carey there to spell that one backwards, don't we? That'd be Carcoke spelled backwards.
Yes,
He is. Be careful with Carcoke late on a Friday afternoon too. Something else could come out. Thomas Peters even, and my second pick, Xander Schauffele, he is even. Also, he bogeyed 17 and 18 today. He was rolling along pretty well. The cut line, projected cut now at +6. So that could leave Dave without anyone to watch all weekend, and we can just
– and I'll go ahead and take my
inbox.
victory lap.
Oh, you can, unless Xander Schauffele comes in as the quad $10 million winner for me. It'll be fun watching the U.S. Open this weekend. It feels different not being out at college football for both of us this weekend. You've had one little glimpse of it. I've had nothing in person. I'm ready.
I'm ready for it back, too. It almost feels like that Arkansas State game was months ago, just in the climate that we are, where everything changes and not really sure what tomorrow brings, that every day feels like a century. I need it back, and it's going to be, another 3 weeks until we see the Tigers at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium?
That was almost Lee Greenwood lyrics there. Not sure what tomorrow brings. We're with it. It feels like the Tigers played Arkansas State the same afternoon the Grizzlies played the
really does.
play-in game down in Orlando. Hey, everybody, this fall, it's going to be the best. And I love all the new cars at All-Star Chevy. You will not find more new Silverados anywhere, and for a lot less. If it's a new Chevy you want, Olive Branch is where you want to be. Come drive one of these new Blazers or Tahoes, just like I did and like I'm doing. Talk about a great road trip. Drive a new Traverse or Camaro. And here's the new Chevy car to drive. One of these Impalas that got all the awards. All-Star. They win on the low prices. We're talking 20-somethings. You can even get thousands in cash back. Check out the certified pre-owned Chevy deals. The lot is full. Tahoes, Malibus, Impalas, Suburbans. Don't forget, it's not the Pike. It's not Mount Moriah. It's not Collierville. It's not South Haven. It's got to be Olive Branch. Everyone at All-Star with one job. Make sure you get the best deal. Have more fun and do it in record time. And everyone at All-Star always constantly thinking our first responders and all that they do for us every single day. Find new roads to Kraft Goodman Road in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com. When we come back, we wrap up the week with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
I'm John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your air conditioning system tuned up? What about your heating system safety check? Good news, you can get both at the same time this month. Call Conway Services for our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash, all for only $69. And we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge. That's right, Conway Services 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up for only $69, and we'll include a heating system safety check at no charge, making sure your heating system is ready for this winter. If that's not enough, we'll include a carbon monoxide test, all for only $69. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. And call this week, and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57 with a free heating system safety check.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Golfers, want to know how to fix your slice? Then come to Edwin Watts Golf Shops and check out Callaway's brand new Big Bertha B21 family. The Big Bertha irons have been engineered with AI technology for fast ball speeds and amazing forgiveness. And the all-new Big Bertha woods are made for distance. And the large Big Bertha head is specifically engineered with internal drop bias weighting to help improve your launch angles and promote a straighter, longer ball flight. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops to get custom fit for the new Callaway Big Bertha B21 family today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Napa know-how.
At Napa, you can get a 5-quart jug of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $26.99. An incredible oil for an unbeatable price from the best car people around. Making this deal the best of the best of the best of the best of the best deals around. That's Mobil 1, only $26.99. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 9/30/20.
Frontier Western Store is open and ready to serve you for all your needs in boots, apparel, pet food, and more. Frontier is proud to be a local leader here in the Mid-South when it comes to boots. Stop by the store today for an incredible selection of name brand work and dress boots. Come browse aisles and aisles of top quality boots at everyday low prices in our world famous boot showroom. Dan Post, Rocky, Durango, Twisted X, Georgia, Ariat, and many more. There are so many styles, colors, and fits available, you might need a hand picking out your favorites. Luckily, Frontier's knowledgeable sales staff will cheerfully assist you with any questions you have and ensure the proper fit of your new boots. Frontier also has an amazing selection of jeans and shirts by Wrangler, Ariat, and Carhartt, as well as a fully stocked women's boutique department with thousands of tops and dresses at unbelievable prices. New arrivals often. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Gilman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, did we hit bang?
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Boop! What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over. On one, on two, on three, hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Drew, I learned today, and in talking to Rex Hoggard like we did at 4 o'clock, and you can listen to it on the podcast at sports56whbq.com, I'm ready to see what the monster course will be like this weekend. I think Wingfoot will be a monster, and Rex Hoggard told us he thinks the winning score will still be over par, 2 or 3 over par. That means it will light them up over the weekend. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't want them embarrassed, but I do want them challenged. What'd you learn?
Before I get to what I learned, it does actually bother me. I mean, I like birdies. I like low scores, and
that's why I
really don't want it to look like I'm out there.
That's why you have the Greater Milwaukee Open.
That's
why you have the John Deere.
Get challenged once
you
a
can
year.
get all the birdies you wanted at Torrey Pines during the regular tour event.
I'm sure I can. I learned today that 2021 4-star small forward Jordan Nesbitt from St. Louis released his short list of his top 3 schools earlier today, and he's narrowed it down to Illinois, St. Louis, and the University of Memphis. According to 24/7 Sports, he's the 101st best player in the country in the class and is the 17th best small forward in the class of 2021. Wow, this is good news that Penny's still recruiting very hard. According to all the crystal balls, though, it's looking like he's staying home at St. Louis.
Yeah, that's a tough battle with right there in the backyard with SLU, and just right there with the proximity and all the Illinois alums in St. Louis. Could have done without I'm ready to be at a college game. I lamented that a little bit to you, and this time next Friday, let's hope everything goes right. I'll be in Oxford for Football Friday. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for SEC. I'm ready to be out at a game. I know a lot of people are. I know people are ready to get back to the Tiger game or get back to at least watching a game. But we have to be patient. If anything else we've learned this year, a lot of patience and a lot of forbearance. What is it you could have done without?
Ultimately, I could have done without, the heartbreaking news of the death of Tom 3 earlier today. But what I really, really could have done without is some of the stuff that I've seen on Twitter, people making jokes, asking if Tom had had COVID-19,
Really?
making jokes about Tom 3. And the sad part is, just because it's not your university or your team, don't take cracks on it because it's
bad look.
Very bad look. And Tom 3 means a lot to the University of Memphis. I mean, all the Toms do. I mean, growing up, that was one of the coolest things is going up to the cage and seeing Tom. It's the coolest thing that I get
love
to.
the live mascots.
Now as a proud uncle taking my niece to games, I get to see her face light up, and it means so much to Memphis fans that if you are one of those people making those jokes on Twitter, shame on you and delete it right now because that is not cool.
Yeah. Stop with that. Just don't reach that far. It's just not necessary. No, I like all of them. Heck, I even like that hound on the Tennessee sideline. I like old Smokey as well. Do you like Smokey, Mr. HATE? Drew, do you like Smokey on the sidelines?
Yeah, I like Smokey. Any live animal. Just don't let them mingle. We don't need an Ugga Bevo situation again.
No. Bevo wins every time. Size matters. That would be Darwinism at play for sure. Keeping a close eye on a lot this weekend. The high school football makeup and schedule tonight. It's limited. College limited tomorrow. NFL's not. Full Sunday and Monday for it. NBA Western Conference Finals. They start tonight. Should be very interesting. A lot of pressure on LeBron. He doesn't mind that. U.S. Open, guarantee you we never have another Sunday of NFL and a U.S. Open going on at the same time. That should be a lot of fun and could be a ratings bonanza for NBC leading into Sunday night football. Maybe I shouldn't guarantee that we won't ever have that again with the way things have gone. Baseball, next to the last weekend for baseball, feels like it just started about 2 months ago. Well, it did, but we're at the end of it, and we know why this year. We want to thank all our guests today. Bruce Marshall from The Goal Sheet, Rex Hoggard from Golf Channel, Glenn Rogers on high school football, and Andy Schiffman talking about the NBA. We appreciate all of them. For Dave, for Drew, I'm Brett. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set